Deer, one of BDD's best champions in the mid lane. Suddenly, he's hitting, winning the lane, being able to initiate as well. The meta has shifted all the way back to spring meta. You think back to spring and you remember, wait, Kingzone was 16-2 in the regular season, lost to Genji when Khan couldn't play for running his mouth, and also they lost one upset match to BBQ the entire season. So if they can recreate the summer meta by bringing back spring, which might be possible, who's to say that Kingzone can't rise up the standings?
That's the idea. Speaking of which, over here on the blue side tonight, we'll be starting here, and also for Game 3, if we need it, is Kingzone DragonX. Who are they going to be playing tonight? It will be their starting roster. They know that they're not trying to pull the Jin Air effect while they put in their subs and then win 2 in a row in games 2 and 3. They're just going to bring out Khan and Peanut and try to win from the get-go.
You don't see Cuz again this season. It means that Kingzone are winning. They only bring in Cuz to mix things up. Rascal did come in for a Game 3, so I wonder if we'll see Rascal when we hit the best-of-5 phase. Kingzone with a victory are going to be pretty damn close to inching into playoffs and guaranteeing their spot. They're currently in a pack at 10 match wins. That puts them third. They're ahead of Genji in game score, behind KT Rolster and, of course, Griffin as well. 10 match wins is where Hanwha Life would love to be. They're at 8 match wins at the moment. But with 4 matches left to play for Hanwha Life, they have a lot to do in terms of the top 5. Kingzone, they're still mathematically capable of reaching first, of being 3 splits in a row our regular season champions. KT own their own destiny. But Kingzone DragonX, if they win all their matches, who's to say they won't get there again?
Yeah, I mean, they could go up to the finals, or they could be taken down by this team. It is Hanwha Life Esports, and summer definitely feels like a season where it's kind of the season of dreams, where a bunch of weird stuff happens. The challenger team trying to be first place, they're first place currently. Also tons of upsets coming in, and maybe SKT not making the playoffs. It's definitely a weird and wonderful split we've had so far, but this lineup, I suppose nothing has changed in the fact that they are always trying to upset. They're always middle of the pack. Sometimes they show up and you say, if they played like this, they would be in first place. And then sometimes you say, why are they even in the LCK?
They very much are better than you remember, but also worse than you remember. Depending on the game, they can look like geniuses. Think of that awesome teleport bait they pulled off a couple of series ago. That got the pick, and also the Baron there for Hanwha Life, but also the lowlight Sungwon, chilling in the brush on Nocturne and a couple of other junglers. The eye test is so clear. A good Hanwha Life game and a bad Hanwha Life game could not be any more different. But that means in a series where a lot of SKT fans are going to be Kingzone fans, they want to see Hanwha Life lose as they are on the same match score as SKT. Anything could happen.
That guy came from America to watch Sangyun, so nice to have you here. He had the headphones in, so I know he can hear us. But let's take a look at this matchup. 14-4, and Hanwha has never won a series. So we talk about, rock, paper, scissors here in the LCK. This definitely could be one of those matchups.
Kingzone are the rock to many scissors. They are always a team that has good matchups against the top finishers. Think of KT and Afrika, who they just beat back-to-back. The older Rocks Tigers have had no success against this roster. The early game, usually if things go their way, they've finally been able to return to some pretty solid mid-game macro. I think now that they've given up on the awesome dudes, fallen back to marksman comps, they remember how to close out games that they just weren't able to do with Kindred jungle, Swain bot lane. I'd be surprised to see them go for anything other than a very standard marksman for Prey, Ezreal, Tahm Kench, maybe a Genji favorite. It's even better statistically for the team of Kingzone DragonX, and BDD on a playmaker is always a treat for the eyes.
I feel like that could also even be our focused matchup, BDD versus Lava. Lava, a guy who has also been slowly improving his play, specifically Zoe and Swain, 6-3 and 4-1, respectively, for those 2 picks. Let's take a look at the team as a whole. We're not weak in the early game either. They have the highest first turret percentage, whereas Kingzone has the highest first blood percentage. Could be pretty bloody in the early game between these 2 teams.
And the last 2 years, they've either been first or top 3 in first blood percentage as well, as Sungwon usually hits or misses really big in the early game. Linderung's meme as he does a thumbs up. And, you know, if he can have a big performance here against Khan, if he can find a winning matchup, we know he loves the Darius. He's also been on Mundo a lot earlier in the season, but the meta shifting more over to the Gnar. And potential for the new Gnar counters is what I want from this week of the LCK. The results, they're going to be up and down. But what are people going to find into the Gnar? Because in Korea, Kennon's not working. The only one I remember from spring we haven't seen dusted off is the Cassiopeia. When SKT play, how far is Tal away from his famous top lane Cassia?
Give it to me, man. I want to see him on the Cassiopeia. But for Linderong, I would say go safe. Pick the Gnar, right? And just try to have him not feed. He was a lot better in round number 1. Struggling here in round number 2, as we did just see. This is the highlight matchup. I did call it BDD versus Lava. No surprise here. BDD, one of the most amount of champions played in summer currently. I think it's 19 different champions. This guy knows his mid lane.
And he also knows what side his bread is buttered on recently. Back is the Orianna, back is the Azir. Supremely strong on both. He's been able to find counter picks into what's strong. If you want an Azir, he's got the Xerath ready. I'm sure he was watching the UCal mid lane Varus game with interest as well. BDD gets an advantage. He's very good at taking over a game. He can be a hard carry, especially when initiation is something that his champion pool provides. Say Lava fan in the audience.
Yeah. Wishing for the win. We'll see if he can get it here tonight. I mean, this might just be the weirdest day we have if Jinner upsets into a Hanwha upset. It's definitely possible. Kingzone have been kind of up and down after going to MSI, Rift Rivals, experiencing a bunch of disappointments there. Still looking for a ground to stand on. We'll see if they can do it. Let's jump into pick and ban for game number 1.
I have matchup here, Kingzone versus Hanwha Life. Because Hanwha Life are the only team to show the bot lane Orianna, we will see a first ban Orianna on blue side. Songyun is 2-0 on that pick. Aatrox still perma-banned. We saw Griffin attempt to play Aatrox chicken, but they ended up banning it third ban on red side. Kingzone fan in the audience.
Yeah, she's been on side for over 12 hours. Came down to watch Kingzone. A busy day, but it's going to end in a fun manner. Lots of Prey fans, too.
We got a really big walk-up crowd today. The tickets weren't sold out a few hours ago, but now there is not a spare seat. In fact, the bleachers are being opened up to fit everyone in here. It's going to be hot, just like we know. In Korea, it may be close to 9 p.m. Korean Standard Time, but in this hot summer, and with this many people here, hopefully we see the action on the Rift that backs it up. Blue side Zoe ban as well. On the side of Kingzone, even though BDD is one of the best Zoes, they don't want to first pick it. Are they looking for a jungler or a support at first pick, is my first thought looking at this draft.
Definitely feels that way. The Orianna first pick was banned by themselves. Tom Kench seems to be the idea here. Lots of nodding heads in the Kingzone booth, too. Looks like they want to go for that. They can't help but nod their heads to the music, let's be honest. I've had to tell like 5 or 6 different people what the name of the song was. If anyone else is curious, just hit me up, I guess. But Tom Kench is going to come in.
You got the hookups to you, Valdez?
I do, for this song only. That's it. My only hookup. But Ezreal going to be denied away from Prey. Also, Songyun's most played and best champion so far.
Takeaway from the Genji special of the Tom Kench Ezreal, but Tom Kench Varus is available, and before I can even say the word Varus, instantly locked in by Kingzone.
And Ryze.
The Ryze is taken blind. Interesting. Good in the Azir matchup. Wonder what Lava will make of this in the mid lane. Seeing the Ryze. Cassiopeia was buffed on this patch, and a small chance we see that come in the Ryze matchup, but I'm very intrigued by the Ryze priority being quite this high.
And you know what? BDD has never played Ryze this split.
Never, ever?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's going to be his 20th picked champion if he does play it. Which, again...
Could be top lane.
Could be top lane. You know, they could throw it in the bottom lane. We haven't seen that in a while, but always a chance when you have the Ryze, and I doubt Varus would go anywhere, maybe mid, as we have seen that before, too.
Kindred's going to be banned on red side. Peanut seems to be really happy to slide into tank jungle matchups. Sejuani's available. I wonder if they would double ban here against jungle. Peanut's Zac is also a famous pick. The Pillar can screw up some of those engages, so it's not necessarily the most reliable against the Trundle, but if you find the right time, you can make some big plays happen. Songwon fan in the audience.
He wrote Songwon 3 times. It was on the sign, and he wrote it in English and Korean. Nocturne, you talked about the double ban. There it is. Might be a double ban to Lava, too. I mean, the Zoe already gone. They take away his Swain. How far are you going to go down the list?
Syndra's one that he's liked in recent memory.
Talon, he's 1-1.
But Talon now is not really the same proposition. Lava was a Smite Talon player, and the Talon nerf was really heavy-handed on this patch. 40 damage off the first ability you max is just so much damage.
I think they called
removed.
that one a simple nerf, too.
There's simple buffs and nerfs. Literally, we have an Orianna first pick meta because of a simple buff.
Let's break the meta, but it's a simple nerf.
Where's our Corki at is a question many people have asked. How about another simple buff? 0.2 AP ratio onto the Vel'Koz Q is not a trivial thing. We've had plenty of Vel'Koz play in Korea. Can be a matchup where Rise screws up and just gets killed where he stands with that ultimate.
Lava hasn't played it yet. That's another interesting thing to note. It's almost obviously going to be in the mid lane, so another unique champion here for Lava. I think this would be his 14th. We had that on screen just a minute ago.
Waiting to find out about the jungle pick here from Kingzone. The Nidalee is always around the corner into the Trundle matchup, but Peanut would have to be really feeling it. This pick CC, you could understand it in this game. A tank jungler with what they've been playing recently, and the Gragas will put threat onto the Vel'Koz with the ultimate. So we'll see if it's for the team or for his own matchup. My indication is it's going to be for the team, and they do go the way of the jungle Gragas.
Yeah. Sejuani is going to be skipped over entirely in this draft. Don't see that all too often. We've seen a lot of first pick Sejuanis. Don't necessarily want to pick it into the Trundle, but just to note, we do not see him. And what's going to come in here? It looks like GP into the Gnar. That's one way to do it. You don't lose entirely in the lane, and you just sit there and farm up.
It's been the most confident matchup in recent memory, but a down champion for Linderang, 0-3. Reason for that is not necessarily his barrel mechanics, but because Hanwha Life really do seize the game in the early game from Songwon's pathing, and getting Linderang way ahead has kind of always been something this hard duo of Linderang and Songwon have liked to do. They have been a duo for the better part of 3 years now in the LCK. Harder to do so on the GP Trundle duo, as I don't know what Sungyun was doing.
They're passing around pieces of paper to just throw out their gum, I suppose. Don't chew and play League of Legos. I wanted to say Legos 3 times.
I know.
I don't know what's going on.
You know what I know?
I'm broken.
Here's what I'll say about Kingzone. They can do some sick rotatos here with Tahm Kench Rise.
Rotatos of Legos?
If you got Varus, Tahm Kench, go lane first, rotate to mid lane, get the deep vision down, and we all know about Realm Warp into Baron plays.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Baron threat comes through from the Kingzone comp. The jungle matchup a bit different to usual. We may have legendary Gragas players in Korea, but I wouldn't count Peanut among them. The cast can have a lot of value here, but also be stifled by an Unbreakable. Peanut on Gragas, it is a ganking jungler. Let's see what he can make happen.
Lots of firsts this time for Summer, I should say. Peanut's first game on the Gragas for Summer. We do also see the first Vel'Koz for Lava coming in. Felt like there was one other one, but definitely a lot of firsts coming in here. And it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what Lava can do on this Vel'Koz champion. Generally likes to get a little bit more aggressive on the Zoe, but let's wait and find out. The countdown has started. Let's jump into game number 1 of Hanwha Life. Actually, never mind. I was called off by the PD. She said, hold your horses, Valdez. We're not ready to go, actually. The debate is real.
A bit of a pause, we're told. If you guys are wondering about the evolving race for first, Kingzone can join Griffin at 11 match wins, but it'll be 11 match wins, 5 losses if they win, but not enough game score to go above them. If they win 2-0, there'll be 1 game in the hunt behind Griffin. So at the top, it is very, very tight for Hanwha Life. They want to be the first of the 3 teams at 8 match wins to hit 9. So if you're an SKT fan, you're definitely a Kingzone fan for the day, because you want both Hanwha Life and Afrika to be dropping games in the near future.
That's definitely the idea here. The music has stopped. Everybody has calmed down. No update on what the problem seems to be just yet. It says
It says key.
He is the key to victory, basically.
Oh. Well, Key has had some good games, mostly with counterpick. His red side last pick champions have included the now forever going to be mentioned triple kill Nami that he pulled off on a turret dive. Not so much a blind pick champion this time, just on Braum duty.
Braum has been falling down in the support meta. Not enough Santa Claus Braum. I think that's the problem.
Well, they took the funnel out, and that means that Braum is no longer this first-round dread. I don't mind a bit of Braum. I'm kind of a bit of Braum, a bit of Tarek kind of guy, where those champions can be really boring if they're very overpowered strong, but if they're only playable situationally, that's a more positive thing. Seems like the old OGN issue of audio issue and headphone issues.
The howling.
Back. Yes, the howling.
Great movie, by the way.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Korean movie, definitely check it out. It's got a nice little twist. It's pretty cool.
Well, we're checking out Prey on our screens here, one of the legends of the LCK. He's going to be on Varus duty today. He is definitely a Varus player of repute. A lot of the champions he is. Sadly, how far are we away from the Twitch, though? Because the Twitch buff was the one I looked at, and the Jinx one as well, and I thought, that's a pretty tanky level 1 Jinx and Twitch.
It's pretty ridiculous. If you take Chrysalis, you're just not going to die in the lane, basically, and that's what you want from those two champions, to not die into scale. But haven't seen it just yet. Looks like the issue is Khan's. Thanks, Khan.
He's had a haircut, I believe. I'm not the most observant people with haircuts.
You were talking about mushrooms a little bit earlier on in the broadcast.
I didn't say he had an original haircut.
He's got it going on, the original Korean haircut.
Who do you think's the first team that watched the Teemo games and then went straight into scrims and tried to make it work? Was it Hanwha
MVP.
Life? It probably was MVP. Maha or Pilot, though?
I didn't have to think too long. It was like probably Max. Support Teemo. He's just down there. He's like, I'm going to make it work, guys.
Think of the map control. That's what every Teemo says in Champion Select when they hold you hostage with the Teemo support.
He can blind.
Yeah, utility.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. Easy Baron.
It's like a better Soraka. You don't have heals. You don't have all this extra utility. You just blind them for a second and map vision.
You just outdo the healing by damaging more.
Yeah. You got a lot of harass in the lane. It takes you a while to get your mushrooms, though, as the support. I suppose just about the same amount of time as the 80 carry, but
a little bit less. You do give up experience going for those pesky wards.
Yeah.
Well, we still seem to have these audio issues. The Howling Abyss once again hitting us, this time at the Nexon Arena for Rocks Tigers versus, old Rocks Tigers versus old Rocks Tigers.
Someone's staring you down. Yes, you guy in the chat.
Oh, I thought it was
he's looking at you. No, he's not looking at you, Papa. He's looking at guy in the chat.
What emotion would you say he looks like? Was it wistful? He was definitely gazing off into the abyss.
He was giving you that look, you know? That one. The one that everybody wants to see.
Licking his lip as well.
Yeah, he gave us a little bit of tongue, too.
I think a lot of people are now very enamored about Sungwon.
I think he showed a new side of himself today in the last 10 seconds.
You'll find out later he was on camera during that time.
Well, I think they know. You got the big camera that rolls in front of them, and the red light comes on. I was actually always impressed by the way you're able to just, not you, but the pro gamers are able to just ignore the giant camera in front of them, behind the glass.
Sometimes they play to it, sometimes they ignore it. Seems like right now Khan looking for the comms. I know in OGN we have the face-to-face matchup, having the live cams. That's sometimes fun. There are some fans here feeling good.
Says they're from America. That's the same sign as the guy was holding before, so I suppose they're all friends, and they all came from America.
I missed the Hi Papa sign.
Yeah. No Hi Papa there.
Oh.
They came for Songyun.
Songyun?
Sorry, Papa. It's not all about you here at the Nexon Arena.
Well, Songyun's a swell guy. I like Songyun.
He's got personality, you know.
Every interview he does is always dripping with personality.
Yeah.
We actually can't have Sungke, a Korean cast, to interview Songyun. It's too much personality. The charisma would just blow up the world.
Yeah. That's why we had to replace Sung-K on the interview because we knew that Hanwha Life was going to win and Sang-Hee was going to pop off. So.
And now we give Kim Soo-hyun a bigger role. So everyone's getting a chance here
Yeah.
at the Nexon Arena. We're waiting to see if Rascal might get a chance later in this series. I, for one, want to see more Rascal. I think reinventing your top lane once in a while. While Khan is really good, I think Rascal is... I feel like Rascal could play for quite a few teams in the LCK.
Exactly. He's really good, but Khan just overshadows
There's a lot of questions like, is Rascal better than Linderong? And we're like, I don't know.
We haven't seen him enough.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Oh, I heard the countdown could be coming.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're counting down to. I hope it's video games.
I think so. At this point, I want to wait for Sung-K. Seems like he's shouting, so I'm going to shout too. Let's get into game number 1 right now.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지
Here we are, guys. Match 76. We're getting down towards the bottom.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
I've seen that in my nightmares before. I can't even decide which one I saw in my nightmares. Maybe it was both.
They're both pretty scary. Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
I mean, I've woken up sore, but I don't know if sleep paralysis would fit as...
Yeah, that's two very different things.
생성되었습니다.
It's where you wake up and you can see, but you can't move.
Do you see that void monster, Vel'Koz, at that moment?
Actually, sometimes. You can have hallucinations when it's happening, so that's why it's kind of scary. A lot of people talk about a shadow coming over them, and it looks like they're going to kill them, and you can't move, so it's really scary.
I'm actually very scared right now.
I've had it happen to me a couple of times. I wouldn't recommend it.
Kind of really weirded out by the first round Rise priority from Kingzone, kind of out of nowhere. Against Azir, that's a pretty common thing we'll see, and I don't feel like his power level is in kind of an obnoxious spot right now, so it's kind of strange. The rotational play can be really cool, but they hadn't put together or seen much when they went for the Rise. And now Vel'Koz, if you move predictably and get knocked up, you just kind of get killed where you stand as Rise, so kind of worried about the evolving matchup in mid. Wave clear going to be faster for the Vel'Koz over time. 3 points into the W, that will usually do the job. Song1 spotted, taking the top side scuttle, but if you're the Gragas, you can't really get too greedy about the scuttles.
Don't really want to get near the Trundle too early on. Just let him do his thing. Song1 can get a little bit aggressive. Of course, with his secondary sorcery, he can go into the water walking, celerity, all that good stuff.
Think about how much was in the game back the last time we had a blind pick Rise for mid lane meta. We used to have, of course, the ability to use that minion dematerializer and really exploit it as the Rise. That was at the second wave as it came in. It was shifted back, and now we don't even see Rise pick it up, even though he was the chief abuser. If you weren't aware of the mechanic, you were able to shoot the E in the air as the minion dematerializer was killing a minion, and that would actually spread. So you would get earlier wave clear. The wave clear has been nerfed, and the dematerializer is no longer there. So for multiple reasons, Rise has been both directly and indirectly nerfed. So I just look at this and say, that's a lot of Rise priority.
I mean, you're even going further than the beginning of when the abuse happened, when it was, well, this is bad timing to talk about it, as teleport has been nerfed, guys, by the way. I'm sure you all know. But you remember Stopwatch on Realm Warp, right? He used to just split push by himself, and then 4 people would gank him, and he's over level 11, so he just teleports away with Stopwatch or Zonias or anything like that. It was pretty dumb.
In the EULCS, they called it the Deficio Special because he hated it so much.
I hate it too.
And I'm allowed to call it that, but then I must refer to Deficio as the moose on the loose, Deficio after the fact.
How long is that?
It's the whole of the
going
regular
on?
season.
So, do playoffs, can you...
No. Yes, I can.
Okay.
I just stopped talking about Deficio. So take that, Martin.
You can just call him the fish.
No, I
like to call
him
him
the moose
fish.
on the loose, Deficio. This is why bets are really risky.
Yeah. Bets are fun, though, sometimes. I like when you call him the moose on the loose. I liked wearing Griffin stickers on my face.
As they lost.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I've been a little bit of a jinxer this split.
You've been getting excited about
Whenever
multiple
I
teams.
do, sometimes I get excited and I don't say it, and they win.
This is really nice pathing from Trundle. Khan doesn't know about this one.
It is an R. A nice interrupt there, gonna force the flash. The flash forward from someone in the bite in the face, and someone, he is here to stay. First blood gonna go over to him. Lava in a bit of trouble here, trying to trade it back. Is forced to flash. The last auto is not enough to kill him.
Man, Lava got pounded in the mid lane there because of the back timing. BDD came in with items. He had no items. Almost takes trades to his doom. Goes down, doesn't die. Waiting for moments there. The pathing was so good by Sungwon. I mean, through a path that couldn't have been expected. By the time Khan comes in, you might think, oh, I'm fine. But if you're on point as Sungwon, you just start the kill, interrupt there. Seems like it was all about the mind game between the jump and also the pillar, and perfect timing by Sungwon.
It was. He was in the process of putting the pillar up as Nar went for the jump. So he predicted it, actually. He wasn't waiting for the jump. And that got him the most effective pillar, essentially. And that's what got the effective gank. And we've said this so many times about Hanwha Life. They need Sungwon to show up and get first bloods. And when he does, they turn up and they win.
Watching 3 members try to contest the scuttle, but they can't get that as well. And it's in the top right, Valdez. It's top lane for his good mate Linderung. Been a duo on the Afrika Freaks, into Rocks Tigers, into Hanwha Life. So getting him ahead could be really big here for the GP. Watching the Realm Warp play, don't think that's going to lead to much. Best Realm Warp play we saw this season that wasn't a macro one was actually Lava for Hanwha Life last time out. Go for that really aggressive turret dive, getting a double kill. Lava was wonderful on the rise.
Yeah.
The last series for Hanwha Life, so we'll see if BDD can show similar aggression. Linderung did go Resolve Tree, so he's not getting Klepto procs on the harass, but anything that gets him through the early laning phase, the moment you see Triforce Sterix, Linderung doesn't have too much to worry about.
Just about getting there. And playing around your weak lanes early on before they get behind is also important. That's exactly what Sungwon did in the top side, which is why you see the GP ahead in the CS, but the Trundle actually pretty dreadfully behind the Gragas early on in the game.
Got the kill, so the gold lead not going to be as severe. Oh, Peanut is varying. We saw Score going full tank Gragas.
He hit him with the Q.
By accident. It is going to be
That's
AP.
So awkward.
AP at the start of this build, going to be Runic Echo here for Peanut. Could still be full tank after that, or it could be ability power. That's what Spirit likes to go. They know Peanut's top side, so he says, I'm going to try to contest these Raptors.
Oh boy. Well, if you have AP on the Gragas, you can contest a little bit better. And he gets the smite and the cast with level 6. In a ton of trouble, but turning it around here is Lava. What a play. Is able to get the knockup and has red buff now. Is going to force the flash out of Peanut. And oh boy, this Vel'Koz is popping.
Vel'Koz over a wall is always going to be lethal, so get at least a single kill there. BDD dies with his flash up. Probably would have died even if he used his summoner. Seemed like Kingzone really wanted to make the assertive play. They wanted to show some dominance around the mid lane. While the barrel mechanics were nice, it ends up just being a 1-for-1.
This is a good play by Peanut. He actually got the level 6 on the Raptor that he smited, so it's very important. We can see the replay here.
So probably would have been calling, I'm level 6. With any Raptor kill, gets it, they turn on to it, they try to make the assertive play. Do note though, QWR, that's basically 80% of the health done in one rotation by Lava.
The Vel'Koz's Wet Dream knock up 2 people and hit them both with the Ray. Flashing on in here on a Prey, but in goes Gorilla. Sungwon with fantastic pathing again. Prey is going to get in there, but this pillar is really nice, but they're too slow. But it doesn't matter. Songyun gets in there. The double kill now to Hanwha Life. And oh boy, they are accelerating this game in a big manner.
Not sure how Sungwon found his way in double control ward. Not enough. They sneak in, get the double kill. Beautiful stuff from Hanwha Life, and BDD has to pack up just to make sure they don't take the bot lane turret as well.
It's going to pick up a big wave, so this is really good for the Rise, but as you mentioned, I mean, the 2 control wards are a little bit far forward. He came all the way around.
Got the blast plant over the wall. Gorilla was already going for a spotting mission, putting down a control ward. Thought they would be on a Drake. Instead, they turn on, the CC starts off the chain. Prey actually dies to the ultimate here from the Trundle. That's good comp. And the Ezreal actually picks up the kill, not even sure. But they turn it on to the Tahm Kench as well. Double kill the side of Hanwha Live. Things going way better than expected for Hanwha Live.
It's really good. It was kind of funny to see the Trundle desperately trying to get around his own pillar, as slowed down by probably the Tahm Kench. But they got the job done. And, I mean, Seongwon, we said it before, they need him to do well in the early game, and, well, this is about as good as it gets right now.
We've seen the best and the worst of Seongwon in the past 3 weeks. So many games where he literally is lever busting in the top brush, not moving. And then when they're winning, he's usually the reason they're winning in the early game, and he's able to double down. So he definitely hasn't been able to bring games back. But when he gets started, this is often the result.
Cass comes in to save Peanut's life. If Lava knocked him up, he was probably dead. He didn't have his flash, and the full combo from the Vel'Koz could have taken him out. Now the Rise was there, maybe could have turned to 1-for-1, but either way, they get them to back off, and now they want an early Infernal for the side of Hanwha Life. Going to be fantastic, especially for their 3 carries that they do have in the lineup. Should be able to pick it up there. There it is. The Smite comes in. Next one is going to be Ocean. So not the greatest, but they get the big one, the effective one in the Infernal.
Extra AP ratio on that Q for the Vel'Koz. A big buff for Korea, because we already had so much Vel'Koz here. Feels like we're the only region playing Vel'Koz with any regularity, and now new people picking it up, like Lava, playing his first game on it for summer. Big pick for Kuro, as we well know, and lots of other mid laners, including BDD, have played it. BDD notably playing the Vel'Koz in that grand final of MSI. The tank Vel'Koz that time.
Yeah.
Back in the good old days. Here, they're going to have to worry about supreme damage in about 5 minutes. Luden's onto the Vel'Koz. Ezreal going to hit 2 items before too long. Mana poke around mid lane. Ryze really can't do anything other than all in. And all in when they're going to be gold down is always going to be risky. Varus might be able to poke, but notice this is an auto-attack Varus build, not Comet Varus, like we've seen pretty frequently. So if things start well for Hanwha Life, people are going to be dying real fast.
Peanut waiting. He has gone undetected. I thought he was seen based on the rotation from someone in Lava, but that's not the case. Looking for the Mega Gnar, but the slow from the barrel actually zones Khan out, and Linderong should be just fine.
Or a bit obvious also. Seemed very telegraphed that the jungle was topside, so smart of Linderong to very quickly disengage. Peanut has really no winning lanes to jungle around other than top. In mid lane, he could also die instantly. But speaking of dying instantly,
good flash to get away from that one, but a really good gank as well from Peanut to make that happen.
I think everyone was ganking each other there.
Yeah.
Bit of trading places, and the summoner advantage goes the way of Kingzone's double summoners. Cleanse actually from Lava as well.
Yeah, not sure about the cleanse, but maybe Fat fingered that one as he was trying to flash out. Either way, he does survive, which is the most important thing. No kill, gonna go over to the side of Peanut and BDD. You mentioned the AP. He has finished the Runic Echoes, and he does a lot of damage.
Notice that Hanwha Life actually have Teleport Ignite on key at this present moment. They have a lot of teleports. Even after teleport nerf, but now for rotational play, it's been required. Hanwha Life are the sort of team that loves to just 4-man teleport in a lane, take the turret down, and then GP ult the bot lane minion wave to also get the Rift Herald. So while that may not necessarily happen this game, it's really a standard play in the playbook. There are already kills up in the bot lane after getting the double kill on Prey and Gorilla. So let's wait and see where Seongwon wants to go, because when you're a 2-1 and 2 Trundle, 100% kill participation, he knows that wherever he goes, good things are likely to happen.
That's Seongwon for you. When he gets ahead, he is very, very active on the map. See what he can do. Peanut does have a level advantage on him right now. No buffs, but Seongwon, not the tankiest Trundle we've ever seen just yet. Still needs to get more of those items. Only has the Cinder Hulk and an extra Ruby Crystal so far.
Everyone lying in wait here. Always love these ultra zoom outs to show you how many next levels ahead the teams can be, and if you ever pull back, the execution might hurt you. Someone really wants to get some vision topside, maybe for the pack up and leave bot lane play we were talking about. GP being level 11 will make it even better because then the ultimate would do more damage. But side wave management with GP, a very common spring strategy that we've seen return here, just like this blind pick rise heralds the return of the spring meta in many of our recent games.
It's just so good at capturing objectives and catching the enemy team off guard. It's an interesting one to blind pick, as you mentioned, but we've seen it have a little bit more value slowly as we do get along here in the summer. You can see just how much Peanut is hanging around the mid lane with no summoners on Lava. If any CC goes onto him and Peanut's there, he's gonna die.
I imagine the jungle choice was an evolving question because they took a second round jungle, a lot of jungle bans in this game. You are right that the instant cast CC into Gragas coming in could be a lot of burst damage, but big wrinkle this game is Sungwon got so far ahead that he can force things wherever he goes, and the difference between a Trundle from ahead and from behind has been on display many times recently in the LCK. This is the definition of a Trundle from ahead.
Well, BDD does have his flash. We've seen many times what you can do as the Trundle, trying to get a free flash, but his positioning is good for now. Still sticking around here, and keep in mind that Peanut is also nearby. Speaking of which, the cleanse comes in, the knockup, and BDD now in a lot of trouble as he flashed forward for that kill. It's not gonna happen, the double TP comes in out of nowhere, and now it looks like maybe they wanna push mid.
Gorilla was shown on the bot lane making a play down from a lane ward, so it's Hanwha Life who make that first play. We thought top lane. Instead it's gonna be this mid lane. Kingzone trying to respond to it. Gragas ultimate still available.
And the rest of them are going to rotate on over. They need the Braum in the front. The Chains of Corruptions are going to come in. That one whiffed wide in a big way, but good rotation out of Kingzone to come in here and save their turret regardless.
Definitely the right move. If they tried to take the bot lane turret first, they would have got the GP ultimate and been able to take it down. GP ultimate on cooldown at the moment. Khan and Linderung have been pretty honest in their 1v1 by GP standards with no Klepto. We're going to watch the replay. BDD finally, when it's spread to Lava, that's his cue to go. Thinks he can kill him one rotation. There's no jungler there, it might have been possible. Good accuracy on that ultimate, and by goes the Rise.
I mean, Peanut was nearby, but he wasn't there to combo, right, as you're saying. So I don't think it was miscommunication, but it definitely looked strange as he kind of just flashed in with no vision up on the top side. Perhaps a bit of a mistake from the side of Kingzone, and now trying to get on top of Khan here. They get his flash away just from the presence of Sungwon once again.
Sungwon had already started off the Rift. Are going to have to back away now. Doesn't have the pillar available for another few seconds. It did feel Faker-esque when Faker was in his best as Rise. He was just flashing in and knowing damage calculations at Worlds a couple of years ago that other people weren't aware of. BD seemed very confident he had solo kill numbers there. And in the end, play didn't work out.
Saw the blood in the water, wanted to go for it. BDD is a shark. We all figured that out today.
Well, the Shark has gotten a CS lead, but the 2 kills keeps Lava basically in parity. Jungle stats for now at least, been pretty low jungle proximity by both. We've seen as much as 4 minutes in the first 15 in other series. But here comes Sungwon.
Oh, the Megan are going to be exhausted here. Khan trying to burst down Sungwon, but he flashes away and he lives with the help of his ultimate. The kill also going to go over to Linderung. And look at that burst damage from the side of Hanwha Life. A double kill now to Linderung.
Kingzone are behind the play so often. BD tries to flank Trundle, but he just moves forward. Speaking of moving forward, Kingzone trying to get a bit of damage onto the bot lane turret. This is 2 members free hitting on Kingzone's top lane turret.
Kingzone, it's like they're overconfident. They're trying to go in there and kill them, but Lava is extremely strong. You mentioned the Luden's timing. He has it, and also Trinity Force for Gangplank. You can't just go in there, especially with Trundle, in a semi 2-on-3 and just expect to win. It's not going to happen.
And I think they're misjudging their power levels. They're playing champions clear. They practice. To me, the Rise blind pick is, this is really working in scrims. We know how to make these picks work. But they're not playing towards the enemy item timings like you mentioned, Valdez. And actually, Hanwha Life have been ahead of the play. The majority of the time, Peanut's gone anywhere. They've been able to punish him. He's very squishy. There's no Cinderhulk on this Gragas. He's gone for the early burst of the AP build and then transitioning into a tank. But Kingzone are playing like they're ahead, and they are not ahead and being punished for that aggressive playstyle.
Can't play like that against Hanwha Life. I mentioned it before. They always seem like the strongest mid-tier team. They're able to beat anyone in the LCK, and if Kingzone don't want to show up and play their best game, certainly they could go down. Oh boy, that might be enough. It's nearly enough, but here comes the Abyssal Voyage. Gonna knock up 2. Key in a bit of trouble, but actually Prey takes the most damage. Oh man, Peanut nearly goes down. From the right side, Songyun almost able to pick up that kill.
Now hit it first, he body slammed for 90 health. Both of those probably important for Peanut not randomly being killed by a level 1 Songyun ultimate. Speaking of Songyun, he almost has the Mirror Mana. He's almost ready to go, and this Vel'Koz is really fed already. So when it comes to Siege, Tahm Kench and Ryze walk up. They almost get one shot by the Vel'Koz ultimate. A little second Drake pickup here, and another Infernal on the way after this second Ocean. Has this game already snowballed far enough away that an all-in from Kingzone won't find a kill? Because the turnaround from Hanwha Life is going to find plenty of kills.
It's definitely true. So far, the MVP for me has been Seungwon. He's been all over this map. But I'm going to hold that thought as 2 TPs coming in from behind. They really want to get onto this backline. Nice dodge there from the side. Someone able to block it, actually. But Songyun will go down either way. Seungwon really trying to save his life, but a 5-man rotation with double teleport just to get 1 kill.
And that's the important part, the last part, just a kill. There's no Drake on that side of the map. The blue buff is up, they're not going to contest that. They won't even get the bot lane turret. Linderon gets some more free time, finally growing a CS lead of his own. Gonna have that Sterix really soon and be pretty impervious to the Gnar. This is all because Hanwha Life are trying to 3-man down that outer turret, and bot Khan only gets the Braum. That's the big problem here. They're also fortunate the Lava's about 10 seconds away from his Life Force disintegration ray. Doesn't have his ult, can't turn and deliver, but it's only 1 kill to the side of Kingzone.
You know, as you mentioned, it's pretty decent timing when they went in there to get the kill. Either it definitely could have turned around and they might have been in a little bit more trouble, but I mean, they get the 1, and that's just about it. A lot of damage already into the inner turret of top lane just because Linderon got a free push and not even a turret taken out by the side of Kingzone. I mean, they got the 1 kill, and that's literally it.
Outer turret is also perilously low, as we saw in the highlight clip. There it is on your screen to know that right now they have double control ward in the area, and killing this turret is going to be definitely an extended process, but they send enough members, they should be able to get it. Seungwon and Key roll around bot side. No top side objective to take. Peanut looking for just another gank on Linderon. He's pretty decked out right now, so maybe avoid him.
Yeah, you know, I don't think that Peanut can 1v1 this guy.
No.
2v1, though, on the other hand, could come in. The Cannon Barrage is not ready yet, but look at how tanky he is. The Ray coming on in here. Linderon is going to go down as no Cannon Barrage comes in to help him out. But the bot lane's being pushed. Looks like Songyun's down there all alone. The Abyssal Voyage is going to come in to save a bit of that turret health, already down to half.
The only reason that play may work for Kingzone is if you say, we're going to hunt for a pick in the enemy red side and then Realm Warp onto the Baron because we finally took down the outer turret in top. Maybe that's going to be the set piece play because they're going to give up so much on the map. It's definitely a down tempo play. But if they thought that if they walked in mid lane, they would just get harassed down by Ezreal and Vel'Koz, there can be some validity into getting something, but it's a very narrow win condition. Everything on paper suits Hanwha Life.
That it does in the end. I mean, we're going to get to take a look at the big replay up here. The long one is Linderon. He's super tanky with the Sterix. They do a good job of stopping the barrels from doing the damage. No Cannon Barrage means that even under the turret, the 2 of them can take him out.
So, some important item timings have come out. 2 items on Varus, Ryze, and then a Frozen Heart actually is picked up by Peanut. He is still real squishy. I believe he will die to the entire duration of Vel'Koz ult when it hits level 3. Because he doesn't have a lot of health, only a Kindle Gem for health in the entire build, as it is a Runic Echo on the jungle item. But the Frozen Heart gets value from GP Trundle and Ezreal, so I guess it's fine. A lot of CDR in the build, 40% CDR for the Gragas. It's all about a pick for Kingzone. I think that's why itemization like this can work. They need to pick and turn it into Baron. That's really the only way they can make this work at the moment. Hanwha Life pushing into this inner turret. The Siege, this is where Rise says, my life is the worst. He can't do anything.
The Siege is ridiculous, and you were talking about pick. We saw a preview of what to expect in the future. The pillar into the knockup from the Vel'Koz. If you can get it together and the mechanics are perfect, you knock that guy up, you research him, and ray him down. That might just be a kill. Speaking of which, Gorilla just has to blow his flash randomly in the mid lane.
Feels so good if you're Hanwha Life to get the Tahm Kench Devour being so much higher risk now with the flash on cooldown. Has Ghost at the moment, but is just cycling through, as we know, with these Unsealed Spellbook supports. Should mention that the teleport changes. Unsealed Spellbook has even more validity than before, given the cooldown reduction mechanic that it has and the options it opens up. I think increasingly we're going to see more melee supports, and Unsealed Spellbook versus Unsealed Spellbook is going to become the reality. Even Aftershock users like the Alistar will really ponder going into Unsealed Spellbook because of the value it can provide.
Yeah, maybe just lower emphasis on the Alistar, as we've seen from today. A lot more Tahm Kench, a couple of games of Braum. Obviously Morgana showing her face, the Pike one time. But yeah, I mean, if we do have this kind of meta where we always have melee supports with Unsealed Spellbook, expect double smite a lot of the time. Expect random teleports from the support to come up to the top side, perhaps, if it's in that point of the game. Speaking about points in the game, the Realm Warp goes up top as BDD looks to go up there, but there's an Infernal Drake that is about to spawn. Hanwha Life would love a second one of those.
Is there a way for Kingzone to contest it? Because they just need to dump their damage into the front target, and when they don't have setup around this Drake, it's going to be tricky to do that, Valdez. So while BDD does have the teleport, they're not going to Realm Warp into areas where they don't have any real vision control. Peanut's taking a small risk just walking up to the red buff. Could randomly steal here.
Oh, not going to happen.
Oh, he got interrupted.
What a play, Sungwon. His pillars have been so on point tonight.
Did you see Gragas struggling when he was caught between the pillar and the wall? Hilarious, but he does get away. He looked like he was trying to fit into overall, so just a little bit too small for him.
It kind of looks like when you think there's a step there, but there's not, and you kind of just like spaz out in the air for a little bit. That's what happened to Gragas right there.
Well, his equilibrium has not been found. We'll see if Peanut can find something in the future. So far, his task plays have been very good this game.
Yeah. Gragas looks good.
He did copy Score's skin, so maybe that's the big reason. Score is Hillbilly Gragas.
It's all about the hillbillies. When you're playing Gragas, you got to get as drunk as possible. You know that hillbillies get the most drunk. We talked about this before.
It's always a good topic to speak about.
Yeah. You guys missed the lore on Hillbilly Gragas. But yeah, I mean, this Siege is pretty unbelievable. Even without the Baron, Hanwha are just sitting here and doing damage to Peanut in the front line.
It is super duper hard for them to look at Praise accidentally dying.
What happened? Hanwha's like, oh, sorry, we didn't mean to hit you. I mean, if you want to take damage, that's okay, but if you insist.
I just love these audio settings where Gragas' burp is so loud.
Yeah.
He should really watch his manners.
It's the hillbilly, man. He doesn't know what's happening right now. He's too drunk.
Well, Hanwha Life knows what's happening, but so does Kingzone. This smells like a turnaround.
Well, you mentioned contesting the Dragon. They're not going to do that. Looks like they will try to contest the Baron. Hanwha know that they're spotted now, but they have a control ward down to stop the vision for now, at least. Turns out Lava's pretty good at zoning people out. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, though, they're not able to take the Baron. This is going to be a good play, actually, for Kingzone. A couple of low members to the side of Hanwha. They don't get the Baron, and the push in the bottom lane is good.
Ward gets massive value, even if it was controlled by the end, because it meant the confidence game gave them the result of that inner turret, bot lane turret. You were pointing out how many teleports Kingzone currently have.
They had 4.
Gorilla switched off to the heal, but he's got an Abyssal Voyage, so we'll let him enjoy a combat summoner.
That is a weird ward. I think both Peanut and Bray can't see it.
No, he can't. It's invisible.
Both can't see it. Look at that ward,
That is a broken ward.
What is that?
That is just cheating. I feel like we should
Neither
pause
of
the
them
game.
could see it.
We should pause the game and tell them.
They're not stealth anymore.
Prey should finally see it, right?
I don't think he can. I don't think you can see that ward unless you go buy it.
I'm really concerned about this ward. You remember how we were talking about tentacle monsters in our nightmares?
Yeah.
I'm actually more scared of this ward.
I mean, if
Is he going to sweep it? He's like, wait. I think it's removed. They replaced it somewhere else. So like, oh, you saw this? It's just a ruse.
I wanted to see who it was. It was someone in the back. Probably Key.
Someone takes a lot of free damage.
Perfect stopwatch, though. This guy is having the game of his life right now. Sungwon, easily my MVP so far. Prey has to be devoured, and look at the poke and the seeds. This comp is so unbelievable.
Nah keeps pushing. Hanwha Life trying to brute force this one. They're going to get it.
Yep. Have enough time to do exactly that. Prey and Gorilla super low, but they're not going to greed for the inhibitor just yet. Although I felt like they could have in that circumstance. They don't want to take any extra risk.
If Lava's ult is up, I think you try it. If you've already shown the ult, I think you have to back away because it's a very clear indication. Kingzone can look for a big play. This ward, another big value ward coming through. Right next to the honey fruit there. Well, I think they are the ones that are baiting, but sorry, you're being baited this time. He walks away.
They get it this time. You can see Peanuts looking for a pick himself. Kind of the ebb and flow of the vision. This time going to go over to Kingzone as, even though their mid inhibitor turret did go down, they had a lot of control elsewhere on the map. The top side's pushing, the bottom side pushes into the inner turret. So the map itself is not looking so bad for Kingzone.
And let's compare this game to our previous series where Griffin fell behind their opposition twice in pretty similar fashion in games 2 and 3 against Jin Air. Kingzone do have 3 turrets, so they're not going to be turretless like we saw Griffin fall a couple of times in a row. They also have kept this game pretty even in terms of gold, only about 3,000. They have good engage options as well. So even though Hanwha Life kind of done the right thing at every spot, and we're sitting there being like, man, Hanwha Life are going to beat Kingzone, actually still quite a lot of game to be played, and there's still room for a super play to win Kingzone the game. A Realm Warp into Gragas or Gnar could be a huge backline threat, and if Vel'Koz dies instantly, ironically, in Korea, if you think about our recent Vel'Koz, where it's been a lot of legendary into one pick throw and lose the game Vel'Koz. So Vel'Koz have been getting way ahead in the early game, feeling too strong, and then being squished down. This Vel'Koz could not really be any stronger. He has a death cap already in the game, and yet we're not 100% sure about Hanwha Life.
Look at what Khan just did. I'm not even sure if he wanted to go all in onto Linderong, but he forces a Cannon Barrage to be used in the lane instead of elsewhere.
Party time.
Yeah, speaking of which, Khan, maybe he went a little bit too far. So while it was cute, you're in a lot of trouble, buddy. He's going to flash away. The Abyssal Voyage comes in, and there's the Devour, but here comes the Ray, and Prey can't be devoured because he tried to save the Gnar. And that's going to do it. The roam does work out for Hanwha Life.
Really poor Realm Warp there by Kingzone. It has to be safer, and then you try to flash Devour. They don't get that. They interrupt the teleport back, actually. The blue pill is interrupted. That's going to be an inner turret. This could be 2 inhibitors for Hanwha Life.
It might just be BDD still up in the top lane. Not going to use his teleport. Has to wait for his teammates to come in, but they're missing their 80 carry. They can't exactly come in here and contest this. That's that combination I was talking about with the pillar and the knockup. Not able to make it work, but they get the 2 inhibitors, and they'll be fine to get that without the Baron.
The geometry keeps lining up for Lava on this Vel'Koz, always about his angles. People just keep presenting to him, and he's like, I'm going to ult you to death now. I have a sweet hat. And he just kills them. There's never any threat on the Vel'Koz. If you're going to go for this Rise comp, if you're going to have Gragas and Gnar, you got to find backline access instead. They try to spare the blushes of Khan, who flashes away from the first Q, but it needs to be more defensive when you open up. It's too close to Hanwha Life. Too easy for the side of Hanwha Life to get another kill, and now they have 2 inhibitors.
The Abyssal Voyage delivery of Prey into the Ray. Definitely not the highlight here for Kingzone, as now they're struggling. They're going to have to push out the bottom wave, mid wave, and also deal with this Baron threat. The turn from Hanwha Life, stronger than ever. And just more extra gold added to their pockets. They're 5,000 ahead. Kingzone looking for another turret at least. as they did stop some of the backs. They're looking for the mid lane. Should be able to get it, but another Ray comes down, this time with Devour up. Not going to be as effective.
Vel'Koz always does way more damage than you remember, especially if you're research. If you take any poke, get researched and downloaded, that true damage ult does unbelievable damage towards the end of the game. And at 3-0-2, Lava doing another one of these games where we remember that when it comes to top 5 mid laners in Korea, Lava's name is going to be hovering around the top 5 again and again.
Yeah, I would have to agree. In terms of Vel'Koz's, you were talking about people just hinting. I didn't want to mention any names, but definitely Kuro was the guy. I felt like they were going to win that game too. I was a little bit triggered actually from that move, but either way, I'm sure he's done well on a bunch of other champions. But so far, Lava has been looking a lot better. You were talking about that sweet hat. He's looking for a nice staff to go alongside it to finish off his cosplay.
He sounds like a sick wizard with those two items.
You know, I think that's what they were going for.
Well, any ult here is going to do a whole lot of damage.
Poke. It's unbelievable. The cask is going to push Linderong into BDD. A nice little chunk of damage done to him.
The Q having that extra AP ratio, remember, that's an extra 20 damage for every 100 AP.
Oh.
He's got a lot of AP, so...
Yeah, BDD's out of the fight. Another good pillar is going to stop Peanut from engaging, has to disengage with the body slam. Hanwha are kind of forcing this one. You know, they really want to get that turret damage, and the lanes aren't pushing just yet.
There's too much time for the actual minion wave and bot to be a factor. It's well pushed out by Kingzone, credit to them there. Again, Hanwha Life are so far ahead, and again, it really is only in terms of tempo, because Kingzone can still win this game. Bray.
Oh.
He was really smart. He hit the ward as Peanut.
How about lasering down Peanut? He's going to have to flash out of that one. Good ultimate by Key. But Gorilla is there on time with the Devour. They do get them away. Question is, you know, with the denied vision of the blue trinket on the Baron now, Hanwha could also just continue to sit here.
Now, Rise can clear this wave decently fast, but it will not be instant by any means. Key taking free poke. It's all about this Baron play, though. Here comes Kingzone.
Key taking a lot. If they can get him out of the fight here, it would be nice, but the stopwatch comes in. Someone
Key could die to
also...
Baron.
Oh, that was close. Oh, boy, this game.
We're on a knife's edge, which is credit how much defending Kingzone has done, but Hanwha Life have found everything except a way to get the Baron. The Baron would almost just end the game automatically with all the poke they have, but they haven't been able to get the Baron. BDD will be able to push out this minion wave, and Kingzone living on borrowed time. They're borrowing a bit longer. It's already up to 37 minutes in the game.
Yeah, BDD looking for his own sweet hat. You were talking about realm ward plays, but just in general, if they can engage on their terms, the Vel'Koz, the Ezreal, even a Trundle, if they burst someone down, Rise with his own sweet hat now, and the Void Staff, can just one combo them and try to win a fight from there.
And the gold lead is so small, because look at the CS numbers. It's a flame horizon for BDD in the mid lane, because Vel'Koz has been roaming around, was about 30 CS down in the laning phase, and then been roaming for kills. His kills have kept him equal earlier, no longer. There is a CS lead in the top lane as well, so there's a lot of minions that Hanwha Life have missed out on, going for ganks, roaming around the map, trying to get advantages to the tune of 2 inhibitors. So it's largely been very successful, but the take-home message for fans at home is that Kingzone have more items than you might expect. It may not matter if they find a way to kill Khan.
Yeah. Well, Khan's on the run. He wants to TP out of here, but the flash forward and the knock-up. Key's going to be there. Will the Baron be started here by Kingzone? Doesn't look like it, and it looks like Khan is just going to go down here, unfortunately. Is going to be caught out, trying to go for the flank, and just to add insult to injury now, Kingzone, another big mistake that might open up the game for Hanwha. And
there's so many wards to spot Peanut if he looks for a steal. This should be the invitation. 50 seconds or so on Nard.
No blue buff on the Lava, but the cask is not going to hit anyone as the flash comes out here. Cannon Barrage to zone alongside some barrels. BDD, he's looking for the engage, but it looks like they've called them off, and the Baron will go over to Hanwha Life.
It will get a full recall, it'll get a reset, and that means that Kingzone will get a fight as 5 members while their inhibitors are up. That's the only silver lining. Khan looking for a big flank, wasn't able to pull it off. Optimistic that he would get out with the teleport, but teleport is down from Linderung, so for the next couple of minutes, that won't be too big. Hanwha Life really were desperate for the Baron, so this is a big claim for them in a game where they've been so well stalled out. Let's understand this one. Don't really see the pathing from Gnar before this time. He had most of the Mega Gnar bars, so it seemed like he wanted to engage and his teammates weren't there to capitalize on it. He has flash up, so he's the one to pull off the interrupt there. Goodbye for Khan, goodbye for Baron. Hanwha Life, they're so strong. We're just waiting for the Vel'Koz to truly unleash, and if Kingzone can find a way to actually draw some summoner spells out of him in defensive manner.
Yeah, you notice Peanut waiting on the sidelines. I was talking about getting an engage onto a squishy target. You might just win from there, but they need to find the angle, and so far Hanwha has been very good about checking their flanks. They were already able to find Khan. But the biggest thing for me is BDD, you know, he's getting really strong. Trundle's having a lot of trouble running up and pillaring now because he eats a couple of spells to the face. So they can't just walk straight into this one and take an inhibitor away. They have to do it the very slow and steady pace here.
Definitely going to take a long while for those minions in bot lane to push in as well, but look at the poke damage onto Peanut. It's still pretty big. Gnar is around the side, threatening, will be exhausted though. Mid lane inhibitor does go down.
Yeah. Chains of Corruption's just trying to stop them from pushing in, but it does not work. The Baron's still available here for a minute and a half, and they just want to brute force it. They send Linderung down into the bottom side, and the rotation will come in now. Elder Drake is on the map at the same time, so something to think about after this fight comes in.
So many minions though, Valdez.
Yeah, will they even go for it?
It's
They might
triple
not
cannon.
even need to. Their siege is just way too good. Poke quite nice. You can see Khan desperately trying to clear them out, but not having it right now. Going 1v1 versus Songyun. Has the Mega Gnar. Will he try to turn it? The laser coming in, and BDD has to flash away with the sliver of health.
Oh, he's
there
dead.
it is! Songyun gets the snipe, and that's exactly what they wanted. Big engage on the sideline by Peanut, and the Gnar ultimate into 5. But is it going to be enough? They get the GA out of the one member, but he is going to go down, Gnar will. And the Nexus is solo. The flash forward is going to take out Vel'Koz, but they do not have enough to win the game. Hanwha Life is going to take game number 1.
Really well-deserved victory for Hanwha Life. Songwon's early pathing put Kingzone so far behind, and even though their comp had proactive tools, they were dictated to. They could never actually use them in the manner they wanted to. The Realm Walk basically wasn't even an ability this game. We never saw it used to any significant advantage, and Hanwha Life, through Songwon and Linderung in the early game, were able to close this one out. Lava may have been Flame Horizon, but he was so damn scary as that tentacle monster in the mid lane. A great Vel'Koz performance from him. And this crazy season rolls on. Kingzone DragonX looking to join Griffin at the top of the table after game 1. They got a lot of work to do.
That man on your screen, he was staring us down, and I thought I saw something in his eye. He gave it to us when we got onto the Rift. Ganks the top side, gets first blood, goes to the bottom lane, picks up a double kill for them. He wins 2 lanes. The Vel'Koz also working in tandem fantastically. They win the 2v2, and Hanwha Life outplay Kingzone, who did not have the best game.
Very interesting to see if we see any subs. Will we see Rascal or Cuz in game number 2?
Yeah, that's the question. Guys, we'll be back after just a quick break.
뭐 언제는 이것 때문에 라인들 다 이긴다고. 옛날이잖아 그런 거. 아니래 싫어. 책 쌓이면 강의는 거. 그럼 그렇게까지 왜 딴? 좀 제대로 해. 죄송한데 이래도 이겨요.
나도 장패들을 좀 봐볼게. 여기 용진이 좀 붙여요.
장패들 미안해. 진짜 니가 먹어봤어.
이거 얼마야?
6만 원.
아, 이제 쓸데없이 비싸. 미안해, 용한테 쓸게.
그러니까. 땡평으로 땡평.
네.
왜 이래? 나 나갔어 이제. 오빠야 나 이거 쓰니까 안 나와.
나에게만 준비된 선물 같아. 어때? 형 응원 노래 때문에 이길 수밖에 없어? 행복해. 봤어요?
모니터 해상 그거 주사율도 한번 체크해보고. 너 됐니? 물량 문제 해결됐어?
모르겠어요. 가고 있긴 한데.
감독님 게임이 원래 숙소에서 느낌 나와? 너무 아슬아슬하게 빨간선에 걸쳐서 하는 것 같은데? 이걸 좀 더 깊숙이 집어넣을까?
근데 이렇게 하는 거.
아 진짜? 어쨌든 다 이렇게 멋있게 재밌게 천천히 해서 이기고 기분 좋게 다음 경기 준비하자. 오케이.
블라디. 이겼다. 나이스.
나이스 하이파이브 한 번씩 하자. 나이스.
이렇게 나나 이번 판 진짜. 1렙 때 너무 멋있었잖아.
이거 초반에
대호야,
건데
1렙 때 멋있었어. 그냥 우길래 그냥
2렙에서 내려왔습니다. 트런들이 뒤쪽을 잡습니다. 블레이크가 내려왔었을 때 전면 뒤쪽 빠졌습니다.
빠져가지고
이런 걸 와! 말로 만든 별미해지.
저는 제가 왜 잘하는지 모르겠어요.
오늘은 인정해. 오늘은 받았어. 오늘은 주인공이야. 오늘 너 주인공이야.
병건이 형. 오늘도 지면 그냥 군대나 가자. 이병건. 이병건. 아, 사실 나한테 왜 그래? 천우야, 어? 왜?
인정하는 거죠.
어느 사람 깜깜. 이러네 여기. 어떤 맛 드릴까요? 이거요. 그래? 없어요. 없는 거예요? 있죠? 진짜 없어요? 진짜 없어. 씨. 그럼 다른 거 줘.
실장님 별 무리 없습니다.
제 무리 없어요.
나도 없어.
차? 둘.
껌 좀. 볼이 옥수수 형차.
아니 근데 어떻게
형 뭐야? 형 한 볼이야?
너는 뭐냐고?
아니 형.
띠차요.
1차 하나 주문 들어갔어.
그러면 카페야? 형 원래 껌좀 약간
아이스 바나나 리얼 바나나 하나 주문. 아이스 바닐라 라떼.
나 아메리카노.
아이스 아메리카노 하나랑요. 나 돈가스. 돈가스 넣으면 안 된다.
We're back, guys. If you missed this play, definitely a super play here from Hanwha. Level 3 is able to interrupt the hop there from the Gnar. He had a hell of a game. Comes bot, gets 2 kills for his team once again, even though it took a little bit extra this time around. And just overall, Hanwha Life playing a much better game than Kingzone.
Hanwha Life, there's such a weird team. I feel like no one outside Hanwha Life can ever know how good or bad they will be before a series starts. It doesn't matter what they did in their previous series or where the meta is at. When they have a great read, they can just blow open early games, and we knew that Sungwon was usually going to be massive or an afterthought in the early game. He popped off in this game. Lava accepted his invitation to the victory party and played a great game himself. And suddenly, Kingzone DragonX staring down another loss and actually moving away from the touching distance they enter this series on from first place.
That was a really funny moment there where the Devourer comes in to save Khan, but then leaves Prey all alone, delivering him to the Wolves, essentially. Khan, this time around, pays the price by going down, getting caught in the enemy jungle. It's overall not a very clean game from Kingzone, and Hanwha Life just looked really on point and very smooth today.
And they just never seemed to be a comeback mechanic. BDD had so much of a CS lead. He played pretty well. But the Ryze blind pick just put this game in very weird territory when you sat down and thought, how does Kingzone get back in? Do they steal a Baron? Do they come up with a Realm War play? We didn't see any of those happening. It actually ended up being Occam's Razor that they don't win, and that Hanwha Life take them down. Love the Vel'Koz first time from Lava in competitive play. The game facts say that Hanwha Life were the better team from the start, and while they couldn't blow the game open in terms of gold, it never really felt like Kingzone was getting back into the game.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the difference in the mid lane. Sure, BDD was able to flame horizon him by over 100 CS, but over 20,000 damage ahead was the Vel'Koz, and that really spoke volumes about the way that game was going and the way the compositions went against each other. This was my VIP from the second this game started.
Hanwha Life, we see Sungwon hold up that finger. That's to stop both Kingzone DragonX and SKT. Remember, SKT are riding vicariously through Kingzone today. Hanwha Life, another one of those teams slightly ahead of SKT in terms of game score. That's a whole lot of fans who don't want to see Hanwha Life win today. But if there's a king troll in the LCK, there's no bigger troll than Sungwon.
He trolled for his team this time around, had a really fantastic game on the Trundle. Kind of looked like, Tarzan or Ambition on the Trundle, just the way he was in the right place at the right time, won every fight for his team.
I feel like Sungwon instantly has got the most personality he's ever had today through both just the excellent picture and also the camera we had before. There's going to be a player change. It's not going to be on the side of Hanwha Life. Which one is it going to be? It's only a single change from what we've been told.
Who's it going to be? Wait for the blue barrier. Yes, it will be in the top lane. Rascal will be coming in for game number 2. We were hyping him up for other teams. You know, he's kind of overshadowed by Khan, but after the way game 1 went, we're going to see a new top laner.
And what was the question I posed? Who's the better top laner, Rascal or Linderong? We won't necessarily get the full answer from this game, but we will be able to see them 1v1, hopefully in a good matchup. Kingzone moved to the red side, so maybe he will pick up a counter pick. But Rascal is back in the lineup. No Khan, he can't fix this game for them.
Oh boy.
He can't. He just can't, literally.
He can't do it. Oh no.
You're getting a bit British. Like, oh, he can't.
He can't do it.
Well, I want to see how Rascal looks. We've only seen him on Cho'Gath and solo queue. He's playing top lane Ryze. And all the carries, so I want to see him pop off on one of those carries. The Hanwha Life fans just want to see more of what they saw in game number 1.
They want to see Hanwha on top, as the right side said. They want them to be at the top of LCK. Let's see if they can do it here, jumping into pick and bans for game number 2, this time Hanwha on the blue side.
Kingzone on the blue side banned the Orianna, respecting the flex pick from Hanwha Life. I think Hanwha Life are very likely to first pick it, so might just be a red side Kingzone ban. Only Aatrox and Taliyah are the must bans on red side, it feels like right now, as no one in Korea wants to play Nocturne. I know a lot of regions are still prizing the Nocturne, but I think Nocturne went something like 2-12 in its last 14 games. It really fell away. And Life blue side ban on the Shen. Seems like Gorilla's not going to get Tahm Kench or Shen this game.
I think that Songyun says, sorry, Songyun. And something about eating eel.
There was a thumbs up from Linderung there somewhere as well.
Yeah. It just always a random thumbs up on any Hanwha Life sign.
So Kingzone get a situational final ban. Let's see what Hanwha Life want to do. Whose side usually has the impetus to shape the draft. They say, nope, no champions for you, Kingzone. If you want to play Alistar, that's fine. Could be a Braum or Taric as a fallback for Gorilla if he wants to go for an unsealed spellbook support.
Gorilla having himself a little cackle over here.
We had a cackle earlier today.
I mean,
it wasn't good.
Yeah, he got subbed out real quick. 0 and 4 on the split is Cacao. Unfortunate. Orianna is going to be banned here.
Lex Orianna taken away. Lava is one of the best Zoes we have in the LCK, and someone is going to play it this game, you'd have to think. But they don't want to first pick it, and they actually first pick away the Ezreal. Really interesting. It is a performing champion for Songyun and Bray, but not normally a contested first pick in a draft. Remember, this is over Trundle.
Yeah. Someone looked good on it, but maybe he's got something else in store. You'll see that Kingzone also a lot of thought into their next picks. Maybe just go ahead and pick up the Varus. Not going to have the Tahm Kench this time around, and it got lasered down by Vel'Koz multiple times in the last game.
Morgana this early could be considered, but also could be turned upon. There's a lot of counter picks for the Morgana in lane. I just think it's surprising to see something like a big duo of picks in the first round be taken here. The Trundle, for example, still open. And actually, this would be Gragas over Trundle as priority for Peanuts. So I guess Scrim results are saying that this duo of picks is the must pick for Kingzone.
I mean, Peanut had a lot of fantastic engages where his casts were on point and he looked really good.
This would be a confidence pick to take. The compositional answer of Gragas say, screw that, I'm just going to play Kindred anyway. Seeing if they want to do this, Hanwha Life. Songwon is our most played Kindred player.
Nah.
Makes a lot more sense to go back to Trundling.
We got to keep that troll going.
Will there be a mid laner taking the first round? You wonder for Hanwha Life. That would allow them to ban more supports if Kingzone try to match the mid laner. As Kingzone have that last pick here. And actually they're going to pick away the Braum we alluded to. How far are we from Taric is kind of the interesting question I have for Gorilla. They don't seem too worried about the Morgana. Unsealed Spellbook, Braum most likely coming through from Key.
Swain left available. Haven't seen him at all tonight, actually. Through a series of bans and also just not being picked up.
This would be giving away 2 more supports. So they want to punish. Going to another lane and banning is usually what you want to do. So let's see what happens here. If it will be the Zoe taken, BDD, one of our best Zoe players. Zoe nerfed on 8.14. The reliability of especially skirmishing Zoe after the more Sparkles nerf can be really big around level 12, 13, and usually that's when the Zoe has Ludens. It just wins the game on one item. Talon gonna be banned because Lava is a known Talon player, but Talon took such a strong nerf on this patch. It's a bit surprising to see it still be banned.
I guess they feel like he's still a bit oppressive against stuff like the Zoe, as well as the Varus, if he doesn't have the protection of a Tahm Kench or a Braum. Decide they need to take that away, but now more support bans are going to start rolling in. The Morgana is another one that's being targeted here, and another aggressive mid laner taken away.
So in terms of supports, we see Alistar as a melee support that Gorilla has at times played this season. After that, Pyke could be considered, I guess. Blitzcrank, of course, won a game on, but that was comped around. Could be range support, but does feel like Kingzone are a fallback melee support team. The Alistar is the only one of real mention available. Will they just go for it? It is Varus Alistar, so a lot of pick through the bot lane provided for Kingzone.
They're hovering it for now. Seems like the obvious choice for Gorilla here. And it looks like it will come through, but now what are they going to pick into the Zoe this time as a counter? They knew they were going up against Ryze when they picked the Vel'Koz. What's it going to be?
I actually want to know what the top laner will be blind, because Jace is open, but Gnar is open too. But Jace beats Gnar, so how's Linderung's Jace is the question I have. You might think, oh, but it's Rascal, not Khan. But one of the most played in the entirety of his match history is going to be that Jace, and they go for Camille anyway. They get the Galio-Camille duo in the second round to Hanwha Life, picking to actually engage the team fights and just Goomba stomp Zoe Varus, who are very immobile if they are initiated upon.
I mean, you can see the flow through the draft, right? All those kind of protection supports, some engaged supports. Morgana, Tom Kent's taken away. They picked the Braum. There's not going to be that much protection against this. Not the most damage in the world from the side of Hanwha Life, but they definitely do have that 5v5 wombo combo.
The cool thing is, though, that in the second round, their draft doesn't get punished by last pick, because Rascal's sitting there with counter pick on top. And if you consider a case where they took Gnar, as we mentioned, Jace could come out, they take Jace, there's other answers there. Instead, Hanwha Life make their composition have an identity with their two solo lanes. Usually the solo lanes can't center a draft, but when they're Camille Galio and it's Hextech Ultimatum and Galio Ultimate, suddenly there's huge threat on Kingzone's backline out of nowhere. The Galio, a known mid lane pick into the Zoe, because the damage reduction means you can't have burst threat onto the Galio. So I appreciate that Hanwha Life were able to turn the tables in the second round, but Kingzone do have a lot of damage. They do have a scaling matchup for the Gangplank, but if Lindaron gets going with Sungwon again, the Galio starts joining. It could just be Kingzone 2-0'd by Hanwha Life.
Definitely could happen, especially if the tide of the game starts to go in favor of Hanwha and they get favorable engages. But again, this composition into a decent amount of disengage when you have Gorilla on Alistar and Peanut on the Gragas. If they can effectively get that wombo combo away from their carries and try to fight front to back with the amount of damage they have. Again, I would love to see Peanut on tank Gragas this time around. I don't think they really need that Runic Echoes with the amount of damage they have on their side.
Not sure Peanut will agree. Can be inflexible in his builds, and also add a bit more burst to Zoe and Varus. Maybe get the kills and Snowball that isn't available from Cinderhawk.
Definitely feels that way. And guys, I got the word that the game is ready. The countdown has just about started here, so go out and tell your friends we might have 2 upsets today if Hanwha Life can take game number 2, or will it be tied up? Let's find out in game number 2. Go guys, jumping into game number 2, Hanwha Life versus Kingzone.
Show us the man we want to see, the man who's a dancing troll in a bush. Exactly the Sungwon we know enacted in this game. We're not watching him right now, but I believe he's still dancing that brush at top.
He's still in the brush, which means he's dancing in the brush.
I feel like the least mouse clicks is definitely Sungwon, because so often he is AFK in a brush in recent memory, especially in the second round robin, where he's had so much fun trundling his way to victory and doesn't even have to play Trundle to do it. Sungwon moving down to bot side after spotting on the top side.
Got to think about which lanes you would want to focus on. You may have thought in game number 1 he wouldn't go near the Gnar, but...
Super Leash coming out here, sorry to cut you off, but they're trying to give Sungwon a really nice leash here. We don't see Super Leash almost ever in summer season. Gets all the little raptors and get a hard leash on his red. This is the sort of thing that Peanut's going to be surprised by. It won't get him a fast level 3 necessarily, but it does mean that when he starts fighting, he's going to have a lot of camps behind him.
It means that he can try to double scuttle him pretty fast too, if he wanted to.
You definitely have to hug the top side scuttle if you want it, otherwise the Trundle's going to be there real quick. Gets on top of the scuttle with it spawning at 2 minutes, so the Super Leash gets him first position on the scuttle. That means that when Peanut goes to take another camp, he actually is going to be behind in terms of tempo. The Trundle can get there much earlier than expected. Usually, the meta right now is for Trundle to take 3 small raptors, then actually go to take the scuttle, but instead gets the entire camp. Cool little change by Hanwha Life.
You could see how he was thinking of going through the mid lane, showing himself to the Zoe, but he wanted to go unseen. Is going to be spotted on a ward anyway. That's the way the timing works out. And as we predicted, goes straight into taking the second scuttle. So again, this is going to give vision on both sides. This is going to make Sungwon's jungle even stronger. I mentioned, where is he going to go and look for ganks? The top side could be nice if it's pushed in. Right now is not the time, but also the bottom side, the Varus doesn't have that protection we were talking about. And even in the mid lane, although BDD does have the cleanse this time, we'll see if they can get on top of the zone.
And Kingzone don't need another introduction to take the perfect timing rune this game. Been falling out of favor recently, but you see Camille Galio strap on your stopwatch for 8 minutes into the game and potentially turning around the Goomba Stomp comp, as we love to call it, with the Hextech Ultimatum into the hero's entrance. Gonna be another game of the on-hit Varus, so a lot of Comet Varus recently, but against the Ezreal, just go in the on-hit build. Someone has to kill the Galio in the front line. I almost said keel.
Someone has to kill the
Well,
Galio.
if the Galio is going to keel over and be killed, you need to be able to kill him, so Rageblade Blade the Ruin King Varus is going to be the way. You're still laughing about me saying keel.
It's been a day. We've had a day out here. It's been fun.
And it's not even necessarily the end of it. Kingzone could definitely force a game number 6 of the day. We started the day at 180 games of LCK already being played. For reference, the NA and EU LCS are at 60, so we've had a lot of League of Legends, and yet we still see new stuff, we have new picks. There's a lot to be excited about, and the drama is basically guaranteed to extend all the way to the final match day.
Doesn't that mean that you're doing triple the work as some of the people over in the other regions?
No, much more. They don't actually cast
They don't do all the
games.
games?
No.
Yeah. Interesting.
I love my job. What can I say?
Carrying League of Legends as we speak. I'm trying to do my part. Only 2 days a week over here for me. What's 3 at times? We've had a accelerated summer.
Enjoyed every moment of the Valdez, and I'm hoping this one's going to be another high-action one. It's kind of hard for Galio Camille games not to be, but always hoping we're going to see some real fiery stuff. Games have been trending longer, a lot of 40-minute epics so far this week on patch 8.14. Haven't felt the difference in 8.14 too much. Korean team still loving the flat. Oh, here we go.
Boy. In a lot of trouble here. Is it enough damage, though, is the question. Is the no answer. Peanut going to be pillared as well, and he doesn't have his flash. They're going to turn this around. First blood again to Sungwon, who's there for the counter.
And how cute that the Trundle Pillar actually gives him something to hookshot stun off. Beautiful stuff there. They responded very quickly and understood, hey, Peanut's got nowhere to go. There's no chance he can escape. Very nice turnaround by Hanwha Life.
We've seen so many games and teams baited in trying to kill a Galio. Usually it happens after he's really tanky. This time it happens early on in the game. He burns his flash to try to kill him. It looks like a done deal, but the positioning from Sungwon and the follow-up with the TP is enough to get the kill.
They don't have enough damage. It's at 450 health, and then Trundle Pillar into the Camille hookshot. Very nicely done. Sungwon picks up the kill. He's going to have a really early Cinderhulk, and there's a troll problem in the top side as well.
Oh boy, he gets stunned up too. Hextech Ultimatum. This should be a dead Rascal. Is he going to flash? Yes, he will actually. Looking to turn it around. I actually called it too early.
They're baiting for
Rascal
Peanut.
Able to 1v2 effectively. Peanut coming in here, unspotted, but seems like they know about this. Going to move in together. And in fact, Peanut is level 4, so not able to do much. Sungwon and Linderong will take back the river.
Yeah, 2 levels under the Trundle, who's going for his 3-0 on the Scuttle Crab. We do use the football analogies for that one. I guess we could use tennis and say 3 love.
Yeah, well.
It'd be 45.
Yeah, 45
it'd be 40 love, not 45.
Really?
It's 15, 30, 40.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, will the Galio die this time? Maybe with the help of a cow, this can happen. Looks like Lava's in a lot more trouble, and he is going to go down. Nice block from Peanut that time. Wasn't expecting them in his jungle.
Good pathing from Peanut, still trying to make aggression happen. This is what he does on the Zac. It's cool to see it on the Gragas as well. He may fall behind, but he doesn't allow it to disrupt his momentum. Still tries to play the counter jungle. Kratos teleports in, as they're looking for a red buff steal here.
This time Key in an awkward spot is going to be stunned up by the Alistair. Is going to flash, even though the Ignite was ticking. Couple of mistakes, but a fantastic pillar. Doesn't look like they want to go in on this one, though, because BDD is also coming in. Trying to get the damage. They weren't expecting Zoe to show up, and actually, now they will just back off a couple of flashes once again, and Kingzone makes something happen.
They definitely are trying to make things happen before the hero's entrance or the Hextech ultimatum from a teleport and actually impact the map. Rascal walking up, he has a stopwatch, so he's feeling safe enough. Just came off cooldown. Lava says, let's turret dive, Rascal.
Rascal says, I want none of that.
Their English is getting better.
I know.
We could put them on the analyst desk soon.
Need an analyst desk first.
Hey, whatever. We'll work it out. Speaking of working it out, Peanut's still level 4 when this play starts. BDD had gotten really deep trying to make this play happen. They trust their damage. This time, they're pretty comfortable that Trundle's not going to be there, and they're right.
Good block by Peanut, too. Dodges the stun, the taunt, I should say. Gets him out alive and gets him so much coverage in the red side jungle, and I think Hanwha just didn't expect everyone to rotate that fast afterwards. It's a good series of plays by Kingzone.
Linderang's been empowered to play very aggressively to the tune of a 20 CS lead. 10 minutes in the game. Some pretty quick items. Klepto game, in case you guys are wondering, we've had Resolve Tree a couple of times in recent memory. One of the stopwatch, I imagine that was one of the reasons to go that way. And also, the Klepto has been pretty common against the Camille. Because if she's not hook-shotting you, you're getting free Qs every time she hits the minion wave.
That means free gold, even if you're down 20 CS at 9.5 minutes. Speaking about CS, 4-0, 4-0 in the Scuttle Crabs as someone picks up another one.
It's been something that's been donated to Kingzone. They've had the Trundle a couple of times. Kingzone have been happy to leave it open, and they've taken the Gragas as higher priority multiple times.
You see the ward ping actually where the two of them were, but there's actually no ward. Rascal having a lot of trouble up here actually. Now that the lane is pushing,
How's Wayne doing?
Seems like he's pushing.
Oh.
I'm not sure what that means about him and his child, but it's kind of an interesting situation for Wayne.
Rascal's just doing his best to keep it competitive in the top side. Doesn't feel great to be 20 CS down, as who's ganking who is an evolving question in mid.
Seems like he didn't have Trouble Bubble available. Looking here for Lava, who has his flash available. As things have slowed down, Hanwha looked like they were going to go on the runaway train once again after someone picked up the first kill, but definitely a little bit of modesty forced back into their play.
Despite all the bans to bot side, praying Gorilla, Varus Alistair, and a decent CS lead. And BDD has also been able to put together this 20 CS lead, so the CS leads here for Kingzone outside of top are relevant. Hanwha Life have definitely gone for the combo approach by taking the Camille Galio in the second round rather than looking for a harder counter pick. Syndra, for example, something Lava has got big leads against Zoe in matchups before, but this time going for the Galio. Still waiting for that first ultimate. No Hero's entrance plays so far, and Kingzone have good map control on the bot side, which will make the Galio very early spotted if he actually does try to make a play downfall.
Yeah, they've been really focused on getting those wards over there, the control wards, to make sure that they can spot him coming in. Gorilla seems to know that Key is here.
I believe they're trading visions. Makes sense.
Things are, yeah, slowly turning in Rascal's favor, it looks like. Although the CS doesn't really tell the same story. Someone wants to 5-0 him.
Come on, going for that big 5-0.
Peanut doesn't have Smite, so he can't even try to contest it there. And Sungwon now is going to be 5-0 in Scuttle Crabs ahead of Peanut.
Soon, if you try to contest too hard, we will see that Hero's entrance play, so Rock is trying to be pretty careful. Duration on that taunt is a long time, so the magic resist gonna be fine there as free damage onto Peanut.
The red smite, he tries to get him up against the wall, and it's a surprising amount of damage. The stopwatch has to come in, but should be. Oh no, the smite is there rather than flash. Someone now is going to get engaged on Gorilla, and this is going all wrong for Hanwha Life. They went a little bit too deep. He's not going to be able to dodge this sleepy trouble bubble, and there you go, BDD picks up the follow-up kill, 2-0 for him.
Tried to predict with the very quick taunt, but Peanut got the flash off, and that meant he was in no man's land. Galio trying to get away, so that's a lot of momentum going the way of Kingzone. They're also going to load into the mid lane with their Varus and push, and Sangyu may have the TP, but things definitely on fire for Hanwha Life.
Yeah, Linderong wants to try to make something happen on the top side, try to trade back in terms of gold, but there's the first blood turret given over to Zoe too, so now BDD is going to be super fed.
Gonna watch the replay here. Sungwon gets baited by how much damage he does to Gragas for free. Right at the end, it looks inevitable that Peanut will go down. First to the Q, and then just taunt him instantly. But he's 0.2 seconds too early. Flashes over, doesn't seem to have the cooldown on the Q, and has to ult away. It's just really ugly stuff from Lava and Hanwha Life. They over-pursue, and the cost is pretty significant as Kingzone get a lot of gold onto their members.
You also notice that Gorilla got the first rotation, right? It was on their side of the map. He was the one running first. He not able to get there on time. Gorilla was able to flash, engage, and secure the kill on the Sungwon, who had gone a little bit too far, so definitely helping out in the roam.
Crash that mid lane turret. Suddenly the Galio is going to be sighted from much further away. The Galio is predictable. Zoe Varus poke sounds very, very obnoxious. And that's not even Varus indexing into a poke build. It's not Comet Varus. It's a Varus build that can kill the Galio if he chooses the wrong spot. So Kingzone in a really comfortable position. Rascals felt the brunt of the beating up on the side of Hanwha Life. He's been beaten up in the top side, but now has a couple assists and is stabilizing in terms of itemization. Only one single stopwatch used. That was Peanuts in the previous fight. And if Kingzone rotate around, who's to say they can't pick up a 3-turret to 0 lead like we've seen so many teams today be able to win?
Peanut finally got his first scuttle at about 14 minutes and 50 seconds, so nice little thing for him as he's been bullied a little bit early on, but now is able to come back. The Ocean Drake going to be taken out here by Kingzone. Hanwha Life thinking about going in here. The Chain of Corruption is going to land onto Sungwon, but they just back away.
Kingzone just want to make this a pretty predictable pick comp from here. They have good siege. They also have the ability to put down control wards, catch anyone in rotation with Varus, ult, or Zoe Trouble Bubble. And Peanut and Gorilla can also help on the pick. So their pick CC is strong. The item timings are coming in very reliably because of their CS lead, specifically in the mid lane. Hanwha Life only have all in because they committed to the Galio Camille. Galio Camille could be so pivotal in this game, but never have we seen their ults be comboed appropriately in the early game. And that means that right now it feels like Hextech, Ultimatum, and Galio might not actually represent a teamfight victory. They might actually be the less than the sum of their parts.
After that wave was cleared, even though you might look to the top side and say, hey, Linderong's destroying this Gangplank. Gangplank's only 100 gold behind him, even though he's down 42 CS. So don't get your hopes up if you're a Camille player, if you're a Hanwha Life lover here, because it's not that much of a lead. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, BDD is ahead by almost 2,000 gold with a similar CS lead, but also 2 kills. So that's how that Gangplank is working out for them. Someone thinking about the Rift Herald, but there was a ward on it right now, and he's got to be careful about taking risks like that. He's going to go in, though. They do have the Braum up here, and everybody on the side of Kingzone did back recently, especially the bottom lane, so they're going to try for it here.
Trying to find something positive top side. This bot side was already control warded severely to Kingzone's advantage. Turning onto this one, Peanut's going to contest.
Well, he's going to be forced to body slam away. BDD not able to land any damage either. They get the eye and the smite, and now they want the Zoe! Not the Zoe. Peanut's going to go down in the front line. Gorilla forced him. Use his ultimate as well. Is going to get the 4-man pulverized, but it doesn't matter. Going to be locked down by the head flash, and now Key nearly goes down, but it's a 2-0. Key will die in the end to the Ignite, but the Rift Herald also goes to the side of Hanwha.
Outnumbering by Hanwha Life, but it just ended up being so straightforward for them after Peanuts had the conga line 1 by 1. of people trying to disengage, and 2 members go down. They get the Rift Herald. That's the sort of thing that shouldn't have happened this game. Kingzone was so far ahead around their mid laner. Now it might not even matter. Ava's going to take a lot of damage, but have a Rod of Ages on the next back. Finally, they end the laning phase, which is going well for Linderung, but not to the tune of turret damage. Trinity Force on the next back. They get the right execution on the next hard engage, which they have in almost limitless fashion with this Camille. Maybe Kingzone, well, rude to live the day, they just got too frisky around the Rift Herald.
Definitely could happen. That TP ward, there were a couple of pings onto it, and I think that's why the observer is looking at it so hard, but it is about to timeout, and so no play will happen on the Varus. Let's take a look at how this fight occurred.
Peanut just slides in with the blast cone, sees it, able to get out, even though there's the possibility to interrupt it. They fight really hard for it, but then you're face-checking Galio. Like, that's the part where it's a bit bogus. They don't have wards in that brush. They walk up, face-check. Turns out there's a lot of CC on the side of Hanwha Life Esports, and while you can understand the blast plant play, the secondary play, not so much.
Yep, gotta let it go, even if you're ahead. Now Linderung with red buff, and Rascal has to flash away, but it's Camille. He's gonna get stunned up. Barrel is gonna slow him down, but the Hextech ultimatum means that this will be a kill. A solo kill to Linderung in the top lane.
Doesn't even bother to use the stopwatch. Roscoe knows the turret is too far away. Big pickup for Linderung. Starting to take over this lane, not to the tune of a lot of gold, but the ability to chase down and kill is an important one over the gangplank. BDD is unfortunately in that scenario as a Zoe, whereas side lanes are misplaying heavily around him, and he's not able to hit them in any significant way. Galio can always turn a side lane play if he actually roams. The Nasus feeling of getting nice stacking on the top side while the rest of the map goes against you. Rascal walks up. He really wants to clear out this minion wave, but one minion wave too far is always the way, and we see it right in front of our eyes.
It's interesting, too, how it's just full health against full health, and Rascal just cannot get near Linderung anymore. And I think Linderung knows, especially as the red buff, and he knows he's stronger. Right after backing, he can kill the GP. It was a good read. Works out. Also, no interruption from anyone else on the map. You know, no TP in from anybody, or Gragas being there, which is really fortunate because Linderung could have had it turned around.
The big mistake from Roscoe is that play is perfect if he has his outer turret up. He's greeting for that last bit of push, going back, hitting his item spike, but he doesn't have a turret to disengage to, and guess what? Camille has 20% CDR and infinite chase with the hook shot, so just misread that the top lane texture of the lane had changed because the turret went down, and it's definitely a very fixable error, but in a scenario where they have backs against the wall, not one you want to make.
And it definitely raises questions about whether or not to sub him in. But speaking of which, Sungwon is going to be knocked down here. Has his own stopwatch. Prey going to take a little bit of damage on the right side. There's the hero's entrance. Gorilla able to stopwatch himself as well as Linderung. It's all about the stopwatches. First one to go down is Peanut. Gorilla getting super low, and Sungwon able to take him out. But look at all the low health bars on the side. Prey's going 1v3. He wants to get in there. He's still going to be punished. But it's all about BDD now. The triple kill. Able to turn it around. Gets a fourth one on the backside, and somehow, someway, Kingzone turn it around.
Clean up Zoe. For once, she's not kited away from. For once, she can actually hit the fight, and hit the fight she did. 5-0-3 is BDD now. Goes to push the minion wave at the same time as well. He's having a day out, skipping his way all to a victory for Kingzone DragonX.
5-0-3 feels pretty good right now. Just picked up his 2 big items. Let's see how the fight occurs once again.
This is where Sungwon walks up. Galio is actually responding to minions, so can't ult instantly. Takes a long time for Sungwon to get any sort of assistance, uses his stopwatch, and then goes for the turn. Zoe hits the team fight, and the important thing to talk about here is level 13 Zoe. This is where Zoe was target nerfed because more Sparkles had 60 damage removed at this point in the game. Unsure if it's W or E max, but teamfight reset's still gonna happen very easily. When Prey flashes in, you think this is the big mistake, but he knows the consistent damage deal. It's not the Varus. For once, it's the Zoe. The quadra kill out of nowhere for BDD.
The 2 of them are the reason why they lost all that health as well. The big piercing arrow from Prey, but also just everything that Zoe has to throw at the enemies as well. We're able to just chunk through that front line, which outside of the Galio is not super tanky. We have finally Trundle beginning to get some of those tanky items. So now with a needlessly large rod, probably looking at a death cap third, especially with how fast he's accelerating. BDD level 15 now.
Damn.
It's a scary Zoe, guys.
It's a level 7 Braum. And a level 50. Wait, is he? Yeah, still
No,
a
it's
15.
9. It's 9. It's level
Okay,
9.
it looks like level 7 on my monitor.
I was going to say, that's insane. It's still pretty insane. 15 to 9.
This is, yep, BDD is real big. So that's a big problem. He can one-shot the Ezreal very easily.
Yeah. Now, with the composition, you were talking about this before, the composition that Hanwha does have, they have a way to jump onto BDD, but you need to start the fight in your favor. You can't have your entire team be poked out first and then just have her stopwatch the engage anyway.
Stopwatch is the pressing concern, though. Still available onto BDD. Prey doesn't have one, but issue is, Valdez, you mess up that engage, and you just lose the fight to BDD, skipping around after you use all your summoners on the back end. So right now, it's going to have to be creative stuff from the side of Hanwha Life. Item purchase for Lava turns his stopwatch into Azonia's. Art of Ages was built very late this game, around 17.5, 18 minutes, so we'll still be stacking up for a while. It's a low damage build from the Galio, which means that Camille and Ezreal are going to have to be the big carries here. Wait to see if that's possible. Linderung's found good success in the side lane, but there's a turret, so for once, the chase down kill is not possible.
Well, Linderung still is going for the kill. He's got Galio behind him, but the Sterix is doing so much to keep him alive. And one shot in the face, will he burn down? It doesn't look like he will. Rascal nearly goes down too. Chains of Corruption, the two-shot barrage will go wide. And oh boy, this game is getting really, really scared.
Dancing shoes from Rascal to not die, but it's definitely a telegraphed all-in that's super risky from Linderung. Almost burns down to Corrupting Potion at 24 minutes. Not often you'll see that pick up a kill. Trying to punish because BDD was topside, but BDD's going to get this turret, get some more standing gold. The side of Kingzone, they're up about 3,500. And if you keep picking very chance engages like that and not executing on them, BDD will make you pay, whether it's on the map or in a 5v5.
Yeah. You guys might not have been impressed by his rise in game number 1, but his Zoe in game number 2 reminds you where BDD is at.
So risky when the Sterix is finished to make this play. Linderung randomly almost dies to turret shot and Corrupting Potion. Gets away, they can't kill Rascal. Songyun shooting out his ultimate there, won't be able to hit him. In the side lane, BDD's actually pushing up, they're trying to kill Lava.
Again, not really gonna work. He's getting tanky, has his Sonya's. Will Linderung continue to try to 1v1?
No, but he will try to bring in the Trundle to make the job possible. Doesn't even have a second item yet, does Linderung.
He was spotted.
Exactly, so Kingzone's on the Baron.
Thinking about it, they do turn off as someone comes up the river.
It's in a lot of games where teams have been confident to make the piggyback kills, where you send 2 members bot lane and try to take down a kill. Even the Smite, for example, with Songwan. That works when there's awesome dudes in the bot lane like Swain. When it's a Varus with Rageblade Blade the Ruin King, have to show a lot more respect. Baron threat much higher because we get double marksman games so much more these days.
Yeah, looks like they got the Scuttle Crab too, so Kingzone, a lot of pressure and vision up in the top side. Not all of it cleaned out by Hanwha Life. Still the one control ward here in mid. Looks like someone will take it out.
Mid lane out of turret. Very, very difficult for Hanwha Life to find. Their vision is super shallow. Nice deep ward spotting the Raptors and also the enemy blue buff here from Kingzone. Looking for a chance pick, and the Zoe certainly will be able to excel in that scenario. In this scenario, where Rascal has been made honest, but still has only died a single time, he's pretty close to Guardian Angel as a third item here. Could be Storm Razor as well. Try to go for those big crit barrels. Still very, very comfortable in the side lane as Rascal. And it feels like if Hanwha Life mess up the next engage, they may just be too far behind to ever pull off another convincing one.
They need the perfect engage. Gorilla was good on the Hextech Ultimatum the time when it was 4-on-1. He was able to pick up the kill with his own Ignite, but can he make it happen with the help of Peanut's Cask to actually push those very threatening targets away from their squishies? That's going to be the key here for the more supporting roles of Kingzone.
Remember that the setup there was good because Peanut face-checked Galio in melee range and got taunted. So very hard to recreate the team fight that Hanwha Life won. Looking at the gold advantages here. The scale's pretty small. You see 2,000 at the top, 4,000 at the bottom, but the kills have got doubled the lead here for Kingzone DragonX, and we're not talking about the lead for BDD over Lava, because it feels like you might as well be doubling the Galio at this point.
Galio's still trying to find the meaning in his life in this game.
It could be another Flame Horizon, could be back-to-back Flame Horizons, and BDD wasn't able to pilot the first one to relevance. This one, with his sweet hat at 28 minutes, Deathcap Zoe is plenty relevant at 28 minutes in the game.
Probably looking at Void Staff next. Will help burn through some of the magic resist they have. Double Null Magic Mantle by Braum. He knows what's up. Not really concerned about Rascal here. He's thinking about the Zoe.
Linderang is losing the lane trades to Rascal, even though he went for the Ravenous Hydra. As you can see, about 300 gold behind. It is a huge lead in mid lane. Better part of 3,500 gold is the lead. Lava feeling pretty anemic. Needs to get that combo play. They just need to find a way to pop Zoe or Varus, and I see 2 stopwatches, so the popping right now seems unlikely.
Yeah, Sungwon had a good early game once again, but now the Trundle, you know, not much more than a pillar and a body. Gonna try to get in there and block a bunch of paddle stars, open up the team fight so that Songyun can do the damage from the back. We always mention, you know, the Varus Zoe, super scary, but Songyun just quietly farming up himself. Haven't really talked too much about him.
He's going to be zoned by damage in many of these fights. Not going to be the big problem there. Linderang, in the meantime, does get some more standing goals. Second turret of the game for Hanwha Life. Game 1 was pretty competitive in turrets. Seeing this second game be competitive as well. Hanwha Life not being blown out by any means.
Yeah, there is a Zoe in this game. That's one of the walls you can abuse. I definitely call it abuse. That thin one at the blue buff. No, Zoe's gonna be caught here. There's the big taunt. Hasn't used his stopwatch yet, but the teleport coming in. BDD still alive here, and in the front line, Lava is just gonna be popped by the side of that damage. Prey and BDD come together, they survive, and they do the damage they needed to do.
And Linderang tries to walk down, so never hits the fight at all. Ends up being 5 members, unleashing damage into an Aftershock Galio, and eventually he is gonna go down. Kingzone roll down, though, to take a free Drake. Not gonna be going for a bigger objective at this moment, but the momentum is all with Kingzone DragonX. Kingzone fans, SKT fans, piggybacking on the Kingzone fans. Even the Afrika Freaks fans all want to see Hanwha Life lose today. Hanwha Life 1 game up, but this second game is advantage Kingzone.
You can see BDD getting real confident. You think, oh, he's caught. As you mentioned, no Camille. Lava gets caught out here.
He's just fighting 5v1. There's nothing he can do. The Camille's not diving with him. No dive, buddy. No real time to ult out there. Probably would have died during the cast animation. Seemed like a mistake from Kingzone is needed.
This time Linderang's in there. He's gonna knock up 3 members. They get on top of the Varus and Prey just disappears. That's the engage they wanted. Good cast to knock him away, but he is still dead. And that means that Peanut may go down too. They really want that smite, and they're gonna get it. Songyun able to get on in there. Gorilla with his ultimate available. And oh boy, big engage on the backside. BDD still alive, but it's not enough. That's gonna be the kill. And a 5 against 3, or rather 2 now, in favor of Hanwha Life.
I called for a mistake. You see a mistake instantly as they walk up, and Linderang says, I'm holding this guy and we're gonna kill him. Prey goes down, the rest of Kingzone's important members go down. BDD's still alive, and BDD and Rascal's poke does mean that this Baron is super duper risky.
They're really scared about BDD.
They should be.
He's looking for it. Nice dodge that time around. Double knockup by Baron, actually. And the Cannon Barrage, look at the damage it's doing. Lava is able to zone out VDD, but Rascal going 1v4 is going to eat the damage just once to delay the Baron. Is it going to be enough? The TP is coming in. They're going to kill Rascal here, but everybody's so low. I think they may have to just back off for this one. Hanwha life is just way too low, so Rascal, he gives his life, the martyr here, just to save the Baron.
And that means the gold lead is almost nil, Valdez. 1,000 gold here between the two teams. 4 kills delayed go the way of Hanwha Life. Gonna watch the replay. Gorilla walks up, thinks they can ward. They notice Gorilla, but Linderung just says, this is our time. Guess what? Galio and Camille mid-game is pretty damn strong. Prey has flash, but there's no frame to flash there. He's dead whatever he does. Peanut falls so low, but Songyun says, I will get my man. They do. They get the Alistair as well. From the end of this, they get Guardian Angel and the Rascal kill. Crucially, they don't get the Baron. For once, there's no front line for the Zoe to do damage behind, so she can't clean up like she did the last 2 fights.
The funny thing in that last fight was I think the Iceborne Gauntlet killed Peanut. But you talk about builds for the Ezreal, this is one very edge case where the Iceborne Gauntlet actually picks up the smite and open up that possibility to go for the Baron by taking away the smite from Peanut. Gangplank did 0 damage. I mean, he ran into the fight, was attacking people, so I don't think that's true.
The fight, of course, is only the time we saw in the replay, not including the later portion. Again, very hard to know who to whack the finger at from the side of Kingzone, given that Prey got E-flashed on by the Camille. This ended up being, I guess, Prey and Gorilla too far up on the map when the Gangplank wasn't around is really the kind of critical thing there. Wasn't a mechanical error by Kingzone, just a decision-making mistake and well punished by Hanwha Life, so I appreciate the fact that they were so committal after being so far behind, after watching the game unfold around him. Linderung makes the big play, now hits the side wave, level 18 Sterix finish. Still don't think he can actually kill the GP, especially under a turret, but he's certainly a fearsome Camille nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, he has the teleport advantage right now. Doesn't have his flash, so it's not going to be flashing on in to Prey just yet, but you mentioned taking the 2 GAs away from both Prey and Rascal. If they can make another engage happen, I think it would be heavily favored towards Hanwha Life, but again, it's hard. They're very slippery. Kingzone's going to play a lot more passively after that last fight as they wait for their cooldowns to get up. Sungwon with a nice dodge there, but yeah, I mean, Hanwha, they just really, again, they need to find that good engage, and I'm not sure that Kingzone's going to make the same mistake.
It's so hard for Kingzone to play around Baron against all the engage on the side of Hanwha Life. If they got Baron with Zoe Varus, it's just lights out, GG. We take through the base and just flash away from any ults. But Hanwha Life with Baron and around Baron is so powerful. The Kingzone is showing a lot of respect, which is due at this point in the game. Items starting to roll in, like the Ludens onto the Galio, to give him some threat. His turret has eluded Hanwha Life for 35 minutes. Peanut confused, but shouldn't die.
Chains of Corruption go wide, too. They've been really good about dodging all of Zoe's abilities and the Chains of Corruption. Just a little shout out to Hanwha Life. It seems like they got their dancing shoes on tonight. It's really important because certainly the just dodge it meme comes into effect against Zoe.
And let's talk about what fans want to see, which is Kingzone getting value out of BDD. You need control wards and to make the enemy come to you. Kingzone haven't been able to do that. Hanwha Life just say, hey, we're starting Baron because their Baron turn is about as obnoxious as it can be. Camille looking for the teleport. There's one right next to Prey and one above Peanut.
Super good teleport wards. I guess that's part of the reason they don't want to go onto the Baron. Someone eating a lot of damage, though, before the fight even starts. And GA just comes up on the Prey. Kind of awkward timing here. Thinking about restarting the Baron, but that's not really going to work here. They're going to continue it, though.
They're still waiting for this teleport play. That's what they're really setting up for.
Here it comes. Trying to get the pillar on in. They're trying to dodge forward, actually, and fight this one. Getting into the back line. He gets on top of Prey, and they are going to get the triple knockup, but Prey is going to be able to stopwatch it. Rascal in the back line trying to get out to Songyun, and BDD still alive in the front line. Lava and Linderung both extremely low. Rascal here is going to get on top of Lava and take him out. So far, looks like a 1-for-1, but Linderong still on the run. They'll take him out as well. And Kingzone will be able to win this fight in the end.
Pretty big that they win the fight like they do. They get value out of BDD. They could actually fight around their carries. As Stopwatch was there, recently bought by Prey after the Guardian Angel had been used in the last fight. So Prey walks up. They know the enemy smite is around, but it's a 4v3. Kingzone not starting the Baron just yet.
The game at Chicken always coming into effect when it's 3v4. It's kind of hard, especially now that Prey doesn't have his GA. But instead they're thinking about this Elder Drake. Not enough damage from the side of Hanwha to rush a Baron, so a lot less pressure when they do go for this Elder Drake. They should be able to take this one a lot easier.
Getting an Elder Drake for free when you have Varus Zoe is very powerful though. Gangplank gonna enjoy the true damage as well. And guess what? When you pick up an Elder, you can run at Baron and say, hey guys, come to us. And it's very hard for Hanwha Life Esports not to fight. Their comp is built to team fight, and team fighting against a 3-stack Elder is no fun at all.
Good vision control right now from the side of Hanwha. They're looking for Peanut, not quite able to stop the body slam, but they get his cask away at least. Nice little play from Hanwha Life. They're always looking for this. Looks like also the TP from Prey coming through.
Sangyun failed his E.
Oh boy. Okay, is gonna have to QSS out of that one awkwardly. Does survive though.
Definitely not a good feel as the lifesteal to be able to pick up some health and then return to this. This buff is being worn from the minute 40. So much value to Kingzone. They know that Hanwha Life does not want to fight them during this Elder, and that's why you run at Baron and say, well, you got no choice.
Really good wards from the side of Hanwha Life. You'll notice the one to the left of the Baron that does spot them. And in the meanwhile, Linderong just going to solo down the outer turret. Nice little pickup there from Hanwha Life. This game is extremely close right now, guys.
Still feels like advantage is there to Kingzone because Hanwha Life can only all in. They don't have any other options, especially if Baron and Elder are being worn by Kingzone. Kingzone control the space around Baron for the first time in a long time. The sweeper doesn't spot the ward till now. Now they know it's there.
TP coming on in here from Galio, who was in the bottom lane trying to push that one in. Will they go for it here? Kingzone all trapped in the pits. In goes Linderong, trying to go for it.
Galio got it!
Comes out from Galio.
Are you kidding me?
Knockup. Prey, though, is still alive in the backline. He's going to stopwatch, but down he does go. Peanut extremely low as well. And there you go. Gorilla eats it too. And now Peanut, Rascal, and BDD trying to clean this one up. It's only BDD trying to go 1v3. Is going to kill one. Will miss the kill on a Sangyun. The Baron and 3 kills goes to Hanwha.
A tick of the damn Q, not even the initial burst, kills the Baron. Insane stuff. Gorilla doesn't have Unsealed Spellbook, so couldn't go to Smite. I didn't see if and when the Smite was used, but that was not the way I thought the Baron would go. I don't think they end the game here, but damned if they don't break the base.
They have a decent cannon minion wave pushing in here, so they will get the inhibitor in the top lane. Sangyun is getting pretty scary. He's 9-1-3. He has a lot of gold on his side and still the Guardian Angel, and nobody from Kingzone can get on top of him. But again, they all tried to file into the Baron and a 4-man knock up the steal. If they got the Baron and 2 people get away, I think Kingzone are not in a bad spot, but the tick of the Galio Q, that's really unfortunate for Kingzone.
Let's watch the replay and understand how this happens. There may be Smite onto the support. I'm not 100% clear here. When is the Smite used and by who is the big question. It seems like there just wasn't any real usage of it there. Ended up just being a tick of the Q, and they go down. Smite
Peanut,
on cooldown. So
yeah.
Peanut used it.
Peanut smited. Sungwon wasn't in range, and he must have just smited early.
Yeah.
And then the tick of the Galio Q was 302. I saw the number come up, so
yeah,
it's
302 was
a
not
decent chunk, right?
Still, it's not exactly going to be a huge amount of bursts, so that was just a bad calculation. It was a really frenzied fight, even trying to watch for the smite. It got confused there, but you got to admit, it isn't really fun to be a jungle when in most games there's going to be 2 smites on the enemy team, as Unsealed Spellbook brings that opportunity. So it's definitely the hardest time to be a Smite, but if you're going to fully commit to the Baron, if you're going to do enough damage that it's within threat range, you only have yourself to blame as a team. Now Hanwha Life, out of nowhere, have a Baron that they should never have picked up.
Yeah. Especially if you're going to commit to it so hard that the entire Wombo combo comp can catch 4 of you in the Baron pit. Didn't really work out. Linderong is soloing down the mid turret, actually has Lava with him, so a 0-2-3 split here. Kind of unconventional, but it's getting the job done.
Prey's build so far has been Stopwatch into Guardian Angel and another Stopwatch into Zhonya's now, in order to try to survive through these fights. Knows the Galio Camille makes his life hell. They're going to always be ulting onto him. They've even been initiating onto him through Guardian Angel, because if they control space, Zoe can't do damage either, as she's in melee range of her opposition. So Prey has had to go for a very low damage Varus build. At this point, maybe you should just have gone AP Varus and been able to find the Zhonyas more naturally. This doesn't really do damage of either type at this point.
You see here that Hanwha Life don't necessarily have the best siege, so it's been a slow going push. They're also going up against Zoe. So they finally take out an inner turret on the bottom side, but outside of that, just 2 inner turrets, no other inhibitors so far, and the Baron buff has subsided.
So Hanwha Life, 1 inhibitor down, means more farm for Gangplank, but he's got 6 items, so not as relevant there. Zoe, as we know, is just as strong as can be, but Hanwha Life's combo has worked for them. The Ezreal has had no threat on him outside of a cleanup kill in the first fight by BDD, I believe, and also has 6 items. And basically Hanwha Life is saying all in on Prey. He's the easiest person to hold in place, and then the Ezreal will never have threat on him unless we've lost the team fight already. So far, that has been diagnosed as correct. Sungyun rolls up. He is a very powerful Ezreal at this point in the game, and they're just not finding enough damage out of Rascal and Prey to actually take down the frontline members of Hanwha Life.
Yeah, the only fight I really saw the Gangplank doing much was when he was able to zone out the rest of the members in the back. He wasn't even necessarily getting the kills. He was just doing a decent amount of damage while being a nuisance in the back line. So definitely the Wombo combo combination of getting into the much more squishier targets has been more effective in terms of compositions and how they do their damage.
Flashes are up on the side of Hanwha Life, so waiting for their moment here. Might have to be around next Baron. Elder spawns as well. Remember, that will be a double stack Elder for Kingzone with 3 buffs. So that would be just an insane amount of true damage. And also the 16% AD and AP that the double stack would provide. So that is something that Hanwha Life have to be very aware of. And there's 45 seconds between Elder and Baron spawning on the map.
Gangplank quite good at stopping the push-in of the super minion in the top wave. We have only 24 seconds until the inhibitor respawns, so
it's good timing for Kingzone. Means they're going to be more in position for this Elder.
It's really good. I mean, the game is kind of just going to even out. Nearly everybody's going to be at full items here outside of the supports. We'll just move into, once again, 5v5. Who can outplay the other team? Who's going to get the better engage?
And the play-by-play is going to be tricky, Valdez, unless Zoe one-shots someone, because there is Quadra Guardian Angel, there's Zhonyas on both mid laners. This is a really, really technical. The first person should die extremely slowly. There's Gargo's Stone Plate on both junglers. People dying will take a long time, and Linderong's going for the back door. Okay, this is Hanwha Life saying, let's get them to make a mistake. Let's increase the tempo of the game.
I like the play. You got to bring Rascal over as well. It just makes it hard for the Camille to get the perfect engage. Needs to get a backline teleport ward into getting on top of Prey, who's, by the way, up in the top lane.
Which is the last place you would expect him, so might actually surprise Linderong if he ever looks for a hookshot trade. Enemy team saying, wait, where's the Varus? Why is he not poking us? They're starting to put it together. Let's see if Linderong gets caught. He does have a ward over in case Prey puts his nose out of the base.
Who knows, may have even seen him. He was poking a little bit there. Gangplank went back for just a second, might mean a little bit more inhibitor damage. Looking for the play, though, towards the Elder Drake, trying to get on top of Peanut. be a fantastic target here.
Prey's back top lane, by the way.
Seems like, I think he saw him. I think they spotted him here.
They did.
Yeah. TP's still onto Rascal and Prey.
They
Here
need to
comes
kill
Prey.
Peanut, because if he gets a lucky smite here, could have saved the game. Songyun.
Cannon Barrage 2. Locking committed to here by Key. It's getting pretty low. Is the steal going to come in? Linderong in an awkward spot, but trying to go for the flank here onto Prey. Are they going to catch him here? It looks like they might be able to. There's the Hextech Ultimatum. Prey in a lot of trouble. There's the stopwatch. Will the Elder go over? It goes to Kingzone, and that's going to be it for the Camille. Goes down. So does the Galio. And Linderong going to get low. It looks like Kingzone have done it. They've won the fight, and they take the Elder Drake. Can they end the game is the question.
That double buff Elder is such a game ender. 4 minutes 40 is the duration. It was made to end games. Jin versus SKT. Be damned, it will never happen again in a world of double Elders. They have so much time to work out what they want to do. They rush over to the Baron. Should be uncontested for Kingzone.
Easy as you'd like. You're not going to come in here 3v5, but oh boy, we're going to have to get the replay and see who got the smite off that time. It was Peanut, obviously, but how did it get that low? And was someone in range and all that good stuff, because Kingzone look untouchable now.
Very hard not for this to be a fight, because the Drake gets down to 2,000 and they go for the Camille ult into Galio ult. AoE damage going to get it down into smite range. Watching the replay here, Linderong off your screen had teleported in as well. When it's this low and Songyun needs to poke it to get lifesteal back because it's already so low, they fly in. Watching the damage onto the Elder. It's actually Songyun that tries to finish it off. The smite is off, is claimed by Peanut, and then it's just too much damage for the front line to bear. Hanwha Life lose the Baron as well, and now it feels like Kingzone are rolling in and wanting to force that game number 6 of the night.
Looks very, very likely at this point. Still 3.5 minutes of Elder Drake left available, and it's the strong one. Take a look at the amount of damage in that fight. The barrels from Rascal on top of Lava and Linderong were just too much for them to handle.
Kingzone walk in, poke from everyone relevant. Even just the Runic Echo popping onto Songwan is true damage on top of him. Camille and Galio on the side, so it's starting to dive.
Yeah, trying to get on top of Songyun and Key here. It's not going to happen. They're going to stamp them for now. The backs are coming in, but it might be a little bit too late. The Cannon Barrage in the front line. There it is. Gorilla is going to try to end the game here. Linderong going to go into the back line, but Rascal has enough damage. And down will go the turrets. Lava here is just going to disappear. And Songyun alone will not be able to stop this push. Kingzone, they're going to be bringing us to game number 3, and well-deserved as well. They want another kill first. They'll pick that up, and very fitting that BDD gets it too. We're going to game number 3, guys, after 50-minute game.
50-minute 22, Kingzone DragonX get over the line. Not sure what the Hanwha Life were thinking, try to double split push against Baron and the double stack Elder Drake. Turret dies for Alistair are his bread and butter. Kingzone with Rascal do pick up the victory. It was a shaky time in the early game from Rascal, but BDD held down the fort. He was so big in the early to mid game. That quadra kill in that unorganized skirmish in the bot side really allowed him to be 3,000 gold ahead of the Galio. The Camille and Galio was bowled by Hanwha Life in the second round, and in the second half of this game, it honestly came up trumps. The Varus was a super low damage build, trying not to be squished by the Goomba Stomp again and again. When the smites were important, they went one way and the other. Double stack Elder is almost always going to be a game winner. It goes to Kingzone, and that means we go to game number 3.
Well, we expected Hanwha Life to give us a challenge for Kingzone. Currently have the better record here, but still waiting to challenge someone. Another good early game, but unfortunately the Trundle just fell away towards the end. Not really able to handle the Gangplank, Zoe, and Varus especially. So guys, we will be back after about 10 minutes for game number 3 to finish out the night between Kingzone and Hanwha Life. Welcome back, guys. We're here after the second set, and boy, was it a doozy. It was super close here between Kingzone and Hanwha Life. Hanwha Life looked like they stole the early game, but then one team fight went wrong, and all of a sudden, BDD ended up with a quadra kill, but it took a while for Kingzone to finally finish this game.
It did evolve into a bit of a nail-biter, Valdez, by the end. Even though BDD was a raid boss on the Zoe, there were so many fights where the hard engage of the Hextech Ultimatum and the Hero's Entrance meant it didn't matter. This is the fight that was cleaned up by BDD. Got the quadra kill in this fight, rolling around, skipping around, just Zoe things even after the nerfs on patch 8.14. But fight after fight, we saw a pretty hard engage onto Prey, meaning he did no damage, and the Zoe also wouldn't have been in range for damage. But by the end, it felt like the turn and fight from the side of Kingzone was strong. The second Elder buff is so often a game ender, as it proved to be in this one. So many competitive fights, though. We're still not 100% clear who will pick up game number 3. So far, it's gone red side on both games.
Yeah, you can see, we talked about the itemization of Prey specifically. He was just buying stopwatch into Guardian Angel, into another stopwatch into his Zonias. He just did not want to get Goomba stomped, and did a good job of avoiding that. His team knew the objective as well, to try to keep him alive, and with all the focus on Prey, BDD was just left to skip around, as we've talked about. And the Zoe, maybe this time in game number 3, it'll be banned again.
Seems possible, Valdez. On the red side, though, there'll be less flexibility for bans coming through from Hanwha Life. See what Kingzone want to adapt. Back on the blue side, like they were in game number 1. That is some impressive Zoe damage, as the Ezreal did Ezreal things as well. Sangyun, very good scoreline, but wasn't quite as influential as Zoe in this particular game. You'll notice, though, the gold graph did go up and down, up and down. It didn't ever really extend over 5,000 gold until the game just ended. Right at the end, speaking of ending, it was at 50 minutes, a long one here. And it's been a long night so far, a lot of 40-minute games in a row. First in our first series, in Jin Air and Griffin, and now during Hanwha Life and Kingzone. Let's give that MVP to BDD.
Yeah, he's some kind of caterpillar. I'm not sure what the stance is, but in this game, he was a Zoe, and he was deadly. 95% kill participation, 9, 1, and 11. And his 6th MVP as well, so this guy, pretty good on the Zoe. I would take it away.
If you need a hard carry, just dial 9111. Gets you there. Nicely done by BDD. Had a couple of small games this season, but recently he's been popping off, and I feel like we must be close to his Azir. That's the one I'm looking for, Valdez, in this next game. It's the Korean casters on your screen.
Yeah. And a bunch of other signs here. They want Kingzone to win, as do the SKT fans and the Afrika fans, so a lot of people that are not Hanwha Life fans are cheering for Kingzone right now. It's not just Kingzone fans.
I love the fact, though, that almost every game this season will have a big peanut gallery where people are shouting one way and people shouting the other.
Oh, yeah.
Every game has standings implications, no less than this game number 3. Loading into it, Kingzone versus Hanwha Life. How much change will there be in the bans? Orianna, Shen, and Zoe for themselves on the blue side. With the 3 bans from Kingzone, maybe they drop the Zoe ban.
I think you do. You look at the bans here from Hanwha, they went for Aatrox, Rakan, and Talia.
It's a Zoe. On your screen.
Kind of looks like a Zoe. It's talking about BDD, so it definitely is, but kind of an interesting one there.
Zoe was the final ban on blue side for Hanwha Life, the Aatrox junk ban, and we'll see where they go from there. Rakan, Talia was the 2 in game number 1.
I winced a bit because Rakan's going to be banned, and I don't think they're going to let the Talia pop through.
Very interesting final ban. They ban away the Kalista. Prey and Sangyun are 2 of our only Kalista players we've had in the LCK. It's a very interesting one. I wonder what Sangyun makes of that. He seems quite perturbed by it. See if the Ezreal does return to high priority in this draft. Tahm Kench is available. Lot is available. For Kingzone, they first picked Tahm Kench in game number 1.
Well, they skipped the Tahm Kench and they go straight for the Ezreal. Didn't work out for Songyun in game number 2, but there were a lot of different factors why. The only thing about this is that they do give Tahm Kench Zoe away to Hanwha Life. I'm not sure, again, that Hanwha Life will just let BDD have the Zoe. He seems really confident on it at the very least today.
BDD has moved to 8-2 on the Zoe, but Lava is 6-3 himself. If BDD has a go at countering it, seeing the same global fans in the audience.
They're staying until Hanwha's going to win. The true fans.
It is 11:22 p.m. Korean Standard Time, so very likely with this broadcast, in fact 100% almost, this broadcast will go into past midnight. A shout out to all the fans who stuck around after the last train. They do go for the Zoe. They don't want to give it to BDD. But what does BDD want to play into Zoe is going to be fun to see.
Well, the Orianna was banned by Kingzone, but a lot of other picks you can take into the Zoe. We saw the Galio come out from Hanwha Life in game number 2. And there are other picks that you can choose that are not Galio, but I think they need to think about what type of composition as well do they want to play. Lots to think about here. Peanut just going to pick up the Trundle, actually, for game number 3.
First time he's visited Trundle in a while. He's had some good games on this Trundle. He's been ahead in the pathing. Was dictated to in game number 1, so wants to be ahead of Songhwan this time. We saw the Elise attempted into the Trundle earlier today. Didn't really work. Oh boy, are we seeing the Aurelion Soul here tonight? BDD has played it this season. Can roam very strongly with the Trundle, and we will. So in what is close to a must-win game for Kingzone, if they have any hope of finishing first, they will go for this Aurelion Soul. 1-1 for BDD this season.
I don't really know what to think about that. That's a very interesting one with all the other picks that they had available. Take the Aurelion Soul into it. Suppose they want to be big on the map. Trundle Aurelion Soul can be pretty nice in making some map plays.
If you've got something big coming from your jungler, Aurelion Soul will rotate first. He'll bring a CC. And you could see definitely a hunting job on the Kindred. Open season here. Try to shut down the Kindred. So Songhwan will come for his 9th game of Kindred, 4-4 on the season. Sort of game where Kindred's going to go real big or real small. It's either going to be slaying or being slain on this Kindred, given the Aurelion Soul pick coming through from BDD. Hasn't played it in a long while. He's given a lesson by, not Crown, Fly, of course, resident Aurelion Soul.
Definitely not Crown.
No. Crown showed us how to win a game as well, but also lose it.
Yes.
The Braum ban and Alistair ban coming through this time around. So once again, trying to hold down Gorilla's champion pool. Might just fall back onto Morgana this game.
Jhin even. We saw what Teddy can do on the Jhin pick.
It's really strong against Ezreal, and Jhin Tahm Kench does very well in most lanes against most Ezreal support duos. Songyun has had a 14-kill Kai'Sa game, but that was the funnel. Are we taking away the Kai'Sa? We are. Okay, very squishy lineup from Hanwha Life. Isn't a lot of synergy with the team when it comes to the Kai'Sa. Let's just straight up power Kai'Sa draft. Kingzone see the Kai'Sa, and it's time to pick for lane. Soraka would represent that.
Oh boy. Thinking about exactly what to blind pick as well. You were talking about lack of tankiness. What would Hanwha Life consider taking up into the top lane? Gorilla and the side of Kingzone have to consider that. So they think maybe just the blind pick Gangplank is the answer here.
Gangplank gives them just the most global momentum. They will have a Cannon Barrage, a Wish, Aurelion Soul flying over the map, and Trundle, who can duel basically every enemy jungler. So they're picking this one, I think, for the Cannon Barrage and the map plays this would provide. The side of Kingzone, Jace is open, could be taken into the GP. The Vladimir would be the old lane counter, but Vladimir has been banned over time. Until Spellbook Ignite Vladimir was the old pick into GP. Are they really feeling this one? It seems risky. Instead, maybe they will pick something that does combo with the Kai'Sa well, but only a farm lane. The GP is certainly going to be a ticking time bomb in this game number 3. But apparently Hanwha Life say, we're not worried about the ticking time bomb. We're going to decide this game pre-30.
Really interesting to see the Ornn come in here. You mentioned the combination with the Kai'Sa, but Rascal just in the top lane saying, hey, I'm collecting the gold. I got fat stacks up in the top side, and I have a Trundle and Aurelion Soul to help me out. Not to mention the Soraka. It's, I feel like Kingzone's draft is a little bit more to my liking, Papa.
I agree with you, but Kindred Zoe as a duo can do some really interesting things to warp games. Kindred gets far enough ahead with reliable engage now provided by the Ornn. Stranger things can happen, and we've seen the best and worst of Aurelion Soul as recently as a couple of days ago. There was a loss on that for Fly just a few days ago, so let's see if BDD and Peanut can combo together. They've gone through streaky periods of being an inseparable jungle and mid duo and also having their own growing pains. Game number 3 rolls around, no sign of Cuz. Hanwha Life Esports, they're going big or they're going home.
I like it. It's definitely to the style of Hanwha Life and the way they like to play the game. Lava trying to say, hey, you got your turn on Zoe, now it's my turn. And he's going up against Aurelion Soul. BDD trying to bring in the new stuff up against this Zoe. Someone on the Kindred too. He looked really good on the Trundle 2 games in a row. Got first blood twice in a row. Kindred, definitely a lot of responsibility on your back. You need to do a lot of carrying, and there are moments where you have to be there for Lamb's Respite to keep your team alive, especially the Kai'Sa and the Zoe.
Lava stealing away the Zoe. BDD responds with Aurelion Soul. Not our expectation, but a hype pick nonetheless.
It's going to be a fun one, guys. A huge game, a huge decider here for the entire LCK. Let's jump into game number 3 and find out.
수환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Yeah, the fans are hyped. You at home should be hyped. Yes, you.
Definitely nothing to complain about for me. I love standings implications. I love the last week of the LCK. We have a 5-day week here into a very abbreviated 3-day week next week. So 8 match days, 7 after today is done, and so much up in the air. Hanwha Life, look at Key's Keystone here. He's actually gone for a very old Tahm Kench Keystone. Then to get the lockdown here with the Glacial Augment. You can pull off a lot of cheese with this pick in lane, and people won't be practiced against it because you don't see Glacial Augment on basically anyone, let alone a Tahm Kench, for about 3 or 4 months. If the Kai'Sa can get through the laning phase, we already mentioned the 14-kill game that Sungyun had on the Kai'Sa, but that was the funnel. The funnel is out, but the Kai'Sa is back.
We've seen a lot of this, just into the bottom lane. You feel like, hey, the game's going to go slower. I can just roll up with 3 items after, 30 minutes, and I'm going to be a powerhouse. But I think I lost the game earlier today, if I'm not mistaken. Had a little bit of trouble.
Viper lost that one for Griffin against Jin Air. That's game number 3. We'll see this time here what will happen.
Yeah.
Every time we see an Aurelion Soul, we know that it normally hits big or struggles. Songwon going for a very aggressive path. He went red buff into gank bot.
Glacial Augment, baby.
Oh, my. This could be really big.
Get in there, Key. Get in there and auto him. Well,
he could just die.
Key might die. Trying to bait him in here. The Ignite comes down, but exhaust immediately onto Sungwon, and a flash from Prey means that it is not going to happen. Now kind of an awkward path used here by Sungwon. Is going to miss a bit as Peanut going for the Scuttle Crown.
And whenever you go for an awkward path and don't get the gank, you can be punished across the map and in your jungle. That Rift Scuttle bot side is gone. The blue buff might be contested here by the Trundle, and Trundle poking his head around the bot side of the map. Glacial Augment, Tahm Kench meant shenanigans. No summoners on Key. Here comes Peanut. They want the Tahm Kench.
They want him badly. Can they lock him down? The flash in with the red buff, and it's as easy as you'd like. First blood to Gorilla on the Soraka.
Problem when you go for something like this Glacial Augment is that your bot lane, enemy bot lane is going to play safer because it's out of the norm. It's a very unexpected thing. In the summer season of the LCK, might be the first Glacial Augment we've had at all. Nice gank capitalization by the Trundle. Here comes BDD.
Oh, hello. I'm the Dragon. You want to talk? Let's try to go for this kill here. Looking for the stun. Nice prediction there from BDD. The one last auto will do it. And BDD says, I don't care about your Zoe. I'm playing Aurelion Sol.
How to win a game in 3 minutes. This early game has been definitely won by the side of Kingzone DragonX. Aurelion Sol goes top. They get that advantage. And I see what happened bot lane. It was all pretty clear cut. The enemy was going to go secure his blue, afraid of being contested by Trundle. Key says, but I've got no summoners. And for all the best laid plans, there's nothing Key can do.
I feel like when the Tahm Kench is going to die anyway, maybe you want to hand the kill over to your Ezreal. But Gorilla, the bloodthirsty support in the bottom lane, says I'm playing Soraka, but I'm getting the kills.
Kingzone doing that assist for other teams on the ladder and themselves when it comes to the title race. They win here, they join Griffin at 11 match wins. Hanwha Life will be stuck at 8. And that means that SK Telecom can move up the standings with a match victory. SKT and Hanwha Life definitely have very tricky schedules moving forward, but as long as SKT fans can know if we win every match, we qualify, that should be enough for them.
Yeah, I mean, SKT's looking good. Kingzone looking a lot better after game number 1. But game number 2, definitely the one to watch. That was very, very close and could have really gone either way. One member survives on Hanwha. Maybe they take the Baron away in the mid game. Or in the later game, I should say. It's been a fun series so far, that's for sure. Hanwha, we mentioned it before, they're definitely a team that can take games off of any team here in the LCK. But Kingzone made some mistakes in game number 1, and now they came out to fight 2 games in a row.
Praying Gorilla with the Soraka, able to control this wave very easily, freezing it up as well. Tahm Kench, until he gets flash up, is going to have to be super defensive. And BDD's already been unleashed on the map once. Waiting to see if we can see BDD make some more big map plays. Definitely had most of his success on roaming champions Talia and Galio. His 2 big picks classically. BDD 1-on-1 on the Aurelion Sol like we mentioned. Here's Peanut, he's back bot lane, back to the scene of the crime. Key still quite a while, but his flash is available.
Someone's in position, and they do have a ward to spot out Peanut. It is going to be swept up, though, so Peanut knows he is spotted. Probably not going to commit to any gank. And now Seongwon in the lane, going to have to back away. So far, BDD outside of that one gank hasn't looked for anything else. Thinking about coming down bottom side with the help of Peanut.
BDD here as well, so they can't quite get the control ward, and actually double control ward is invested to spot anybody looking for a turret dive here onto the Hanwha Life Esports duo. Getting the Ezreal out of lane in about 3 to 5 minutes time is usually what you want to do. Close to 1.5 items by then. Is looking for the all-in on Rascal here.
Not sure if he can kill him there. Gets the brittle. Linderong trying to get some more mana to get on in here. His cooldowns are a little bit low. Looking for the knockup now. He's maybe going to get this one. One more auto would do it. Rascal has to flash away. Thankfully, Linderong didn't have his flash because of the earlier gank, or else Rascal would have been dead.
Everyone's always surprised by Ornn damage in lane. Gets all the procs, can't quite get the kill. Flashes are both down. I guess Linderong used his earlier, trying to get away from the gank. So from this all, Seongwon will pick up this top side scuttle, will be his 2nd mark of the game. And the best news story for Hanwha Life is that he's getting those because otherwise it's a 2,000 gold lead for Kingzone DragonX.
That's definitely a good news story. They have Seongwon quietly farming. Also, Lava himself, even though he didn't get a kill like BDD, is able to go even with him in CS in the mid lane. So they have a couple of their carries doing pretty well. Kai's on the bottom side, understandably getting behind. Prey only did get the assist. Of course, things are looking good for Kingzone, but the game isn't over yet.
Rascal, because he's up in CS and Gangplank, is meaning this game looks very one-sided in terms of gold. It is 2,300 gold. With no neutrals down, and actually a Scuttle Crab disadvantage on the side of Kingzone. Hooray for Klepto Gangplank. But Hanwha Life basically are rolling the dice on trying to make the most of Sangyun at 1 or 2 items and winning team fights from there. A very 5v5 centric comp, which is kind of similar what they did in game number 2, going for the Camille Galio. It certainly didn't work at the start, but they turned it on in the mid game. And if they feel like they can return to that, get Sungyun anywhere near 5 or 6 kills, maybe the risk will be worth it. After getting this far ahead is always a risk that I think teams are looking to avoid. But Hanwha Life opted into it with the final pick on.
BDD here, he's Aurelion Sol with blue now, and level 2 boots. The Merc Treads picked up early. Obviously doesn't have much AP, but has some very high roaming potential. He's got a lane to go to. Was thinking about going up top, cleared up some vision. Not really gonna have the super effective roams just yet. Still just pushing on in.
So have the ability to hit the sideways very easily, can push out in these early moments before there's Ludens in order to roam top or bot. GP has, lane priority on Ornn, or at least will be able to farm next to him very safely, and bot lane is a heavy winning lane. There's a very long map for them to chase. That's why you see Sungwon taking the blast plant defensively. For now, at least, Kingzone control the rotations top and bot side of the map, which means the Kindred, for now, looking like he's going to be on the back foot for the majority of the early game.
Yeah, just sitting back, at least he was able to pick up the 2 marks. If the RNG goes a different way, or if Peanut showed more pressure towards the top side. Look at this again, gets it onto the Scuttle Crab that they have control of. Sungwon in a good spot. Let's see if he gets it smited away. No, he will pick up his 3rd mark of the game.
That is certainly very fortunate. He's definitely gotten very, very lucky. That's a lot of sacks of gold from Ezreal Q. When he's a Klepto analogy. Klepto is going to mean that Prey and Rascal are going to be shouldering a lot of the gold lead in this game. Still around the 2,700 mark. One more stack from Sungwon, a kill onto the Trundle, and suddenly he has that 75 range. That makes the Kindred a lot more annoying to face. See how many CS Sungyun has to give up. This Kai'Sa Tahm Kench definitely struggling heavily in the bot side. Glacial Augment feeling pretty useless, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, when you get killed down on the bottom side, have to flash away while trying to force something with your Glacial Augment. It's not going to be good.
If you win the game from that level 2 gank, you look like a genius with the Glacial Augment. But I feel like if Glacial Augment wasn't revealed to the enemy, then it'll be amazing. But because it was revealed, Kingzone played respectful. He took too much damage. Went on to get taken down by the smart gank. So things have really conspired against the Tahm Kench Kai'Sa.
Peanut Peanut, BDD checking the Rift Herald, because we've seen what the Kindreds can do when they try to go ahead and just take it away, sneak it away with no vision. Didn't have vision, but they have an Aurelion Sol, which is basically a moving ward. Oh, okay, Lava uses the Ghost on his W. BDD trying to get a little bit frisky.
Word of Ages, the standard choice on the Aurelion Sol these days, the catalyst for laning phase. And the GOP, no longer building out of that item, doesn't get much out of CDR. Looking for a dive here at Hanwha Life. They're trying to fight, actually. They're going for the flank.
Oh boy, BDD's already here. Sungwon is going to get that Lancer Spike down. Linderong, can he get the big knockup here on a Peanut? He will! And the damage comes in, but downhill he go as well. And Rascal frontlining right now, trying to follow up. And look at BDD, just running Sungwon down. He's going to pick up a double kill. He's now 3-0 on the Rift.
Phase Rush means there's no kiting this man. The Abyssal Voyage, because the Aurelion Sol was already there, doesn't outnumber for as long as they think it will. They share the gold between Prey and GP. The gold lead is now getting to comical levels. It's 4,200 at 12 minutes.
I generally feel like when series go this way, especially when game 2 is it ties up and it's super close, it's either a blowout in game 3 or it's another really close game. I think we might be leaning towards the way of a blowout here, as BDD's Aurelion Sol is really on point.
Where is Aurelion Sol? It's not a question that Hanwha Life asks. They say, we can get in the back line, we can get 5 members there first. They're actually there about the same time while they get the first kill. It's very easy on the back end of this fight for BDD to clean up. Takes damage onto Sungwon. Rest in peace, Noble Kindred. Goes back, got that Rod of Ages. He is super powered this early into the game. The Luden's going to be delayed. The first item for Songyun, Stormrazor, going to take a while. Is the game going to be over before that second Songyun item comes in? And at that same time, how many items will GP have when Stormrazor Rageblade is complete?
Well, Sungwon in a little bit of trouble here. I say a little bit, but let's see what happens. The Flash Devour comes in. Songyun is bursting on in. Peanut taking a lot of damage, and down he will go. The turnaround there as just more members of Hanwha were in position.
Able to rotate so quickly. Very decisive by Hanwha Life to capitalize on a kill. Very fortunate, falls into the lap of the Kai'Sa as well. Needs any bit of gold she can get. 40 CS behind the Ezreal. Ult from the Ezreal will clear most of the way. If he's the Ornn ultimate, just a zone.
They're gonna knock him up. Of course, Lava on the Zoe can do it as well. But more importantly, you mentioned the zone, they get the turret as well. So what was just one kill and one out of position play means a nice little gold amount given over to the side of Hanwha Life.
And they need to do little creative things like that to actually find advantage. We'll watch the replay and understand Sungwon was on a ward. It looks like 3v1, GG. He invests his flash to actually get the Devour off. That means Kindred Liz didn't have ultimate as his fight began. I mean, it was just ticking up. They get the answering kill onto Peanut. Nice capitalization by Hanwha Life.
Songyun surprisingly scary. The second she showed up, they were like, oh crap. We gotta back out of this one. Even though she is down 44 CS. It's now 1-0-1 with the finished Stormrazor. So the Kai'Sa slowly getting online here in this game.
Good news stories for Hanwha Life. They have an orange. That means someone to face check. They have a Tom Kench as well. So contesting vision, pretty decent on the side of Hanwha Life, whereas Kingzone are very squishy. Only Trundle, a true frontliner, and that's going to be on the budget of a jungle. So that means that falling behind and giving away a Baron is tricky. Kingzone, their engage is kind of absent. They're very much about controlling space and the enemy coming to them. Or an Aurelion Sol clashing. And in the laning phase, Aurelion Sol can often get multiple kills because of his ability to get between lanes. When the laning phase ends, the reliability of Aurelion Sol goes way down, as we know.
Want to get on top of this duo lane. Both of them don't have flash. Unfortunately, it seemed like they saw him coming up the river.
And I believe that might be 4 stacks to Sungwon because he was involved in the kill onto the Trundle. That's who we had marked earlier. Can't confirm that 100%. We'll get back to you on that one, but Sungwon, because of the high roll on the Scuttles at the start, all 3 of his first marks from Scuttle Crabs, in a better scenario than most Kindreds at 0, 1, and 2.
Click the Kindred, please. That's what I want to see. If we could talk to the observers. Oh, they clicked it. Didn't get to see it how fast it was, but either way, Kingzone going to move over here to the Mountain Drake pretty free as Sungwon not in position. The bottom lane just goes for a back. So they'll pick that one up. It is going to be their first of the game with another Mountain, actually Infernal coming up second behind that first Mountain.
Songyun will be hoping that he can fight for that one as his core item finished after picking up the kill earlier with Stormrazor. Pickaxe to get to the 100 AD mark so he can evolve his Q, and then focusing on the recurve bow and the Rage Blade to get to his E evolve to become as slippery as possible. Side laning for now is the Kai'Sa.
I like the next item from Kindred, a stopwatch. I guess that's just the way it is nowadays, especially in competitive play. Stopwatch is just so useful, especially in these mid-game fights that determine so much. If you can survive as the Kindred with just a stopwatch, the 600 gold will be worth it.
You can use your ult for team utility is the theory behind that one. For now, Sungwon galloping forwards and back, trying to clear out vision around the Rift Herald. Hanwha Life would prefer the Rift Herald, was either taken by them or not taken at all. Can't really afford for it to be used to accelerate the game. So they're patrolling the top side for the next 2 minutes or so, trying to deny that objective from Kingzone.
No start on the Rift Herald just yet. Just poking ahead. Redemption comes out of Soraka, actually. No Zoe on the side of Kingzone this time around.
Something to spot from Soraka as well, to get the vision as they use that spotting Redemption. Sungwon's been very creative about ways to leash the Rift Herald too. They like to leash it topside in different games. Starting to fight for it here. Linderon walks down. You know what that means. The Ornhorn's on the way.
Yeah. Not going to wait for a teleport or anything like that. Really nice snipe here from Lava. Will they block it? Lava not going to be stunned up here, and the Ornn ultimate comes in. Gorilla has to wish, and the Ignite taken down. Oh, where did someone go? And the smite goes over to Peanut. Bit of a mistake there on the side of Hanwha Life. And now the chase comes in. Should be an easy follow-up kill on a K. That's going to be 2, and the Rift Herald going to Kingzone.
This is the time they need to execute, and that is a misexecution, and then some. Sungwon surprised by damage. Dies with stopwatch and ultimate and flash available.
Oh, boy.
The amount of ands there tells you that he made a big boo-boo. BD walks up, cleanses.
I mean, this guy is just popping off now. There's no one to stop him. BDD now 4-0. Maybe even picked up a kill in the last fight. Linderon just running away, and Kingzone kind of having fun with this game now.
They're blowing it open, Valdez. Linderon roamed up 2 levels under the GP. Tells you that this was their time. It wasn't their time. It was all a prank. And now Kingzone have maybe just dealt a death knell to the side of Hanwha Life. Look at the gold advantage, the map control, everything gone the way of Kingzone.
I want to see how this guy dies, because Sungwon just took way too much damage in the front line. We were all looking at Gorilla, but somehow this guy died to just pray. Two-shot barrage and 1 mystic shot, and see you later. Kindred doesn't have a lot of health. And you guys saw it in action there.
No Phage, no Black Cleaver. That's the only health we really see in the Kindred build. No chance. Went for the stopwatch and didn't use it. That's 600 gold. Could have been used on anything else. Goes down there. 8 stacks on this Dark Seal. That is a really big Aurelion Soul. BDD has quietly had one of the best mid lane series by any player in this series. The Rise pick surprised us. Not sure if that was BDD or the team calling for it, but he Flame Horizon in game number 1, did it again in game number 2, but then he was monstrous. This Aurelion Soul, equally monstrous. Even if last team fight, it wasn't the damage numbers he might have been looking for.
It was all about Prey in that last one. He was the carry. They all got on the Prey bus this time around. They got 2 extra kills. Whatever it takes, basically. And now Kingzone are so far ahead. 7,000 here at 21 minutes. They even consider a Baron. You know, they don't have the fastest Baron, of course, but definitely could try to turn off of it. They do have that first Mountain Drink as well, which would help out for taking it.
Can cheat with a composition like this. You have Gangplank ult and the ability to fly over the wall. As the Aurelion Soul, usually teams will be stalled out at 21 minutes, but they just have the Rift Tower. They haven't used it, so they can try to use it on an inner turret. Setting up vision isn't as important when you have globals and the ability to get over walls. So you can do a lot with not much, and they have a lot. So they actually kind of have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to increasing the pace of the game. Most teams like this will be stalled out, not Kingzone at this present point.
And Prey on point with the two-shot barrages. They're going to go for it, actually. Just trying to stop this push here as Hanwha Life. Not able to stop the Rift Heralds. Geraldine takes it down, and she's looking for another charge in the mid lane.
She's going to get it.
Yep, she'll get it. Meanwhile, Rascal's in the bottom side. It's looking like a rout here to the side of Kingzone for game 3.
Remember, they dropped the Linderon onto the Ornn to make plays in the mid game. That's why it packed up 2 levels under level 11 Ornn to try to make that play, but they lost after Sungwon died instantly over the wall. And when you make a play like that, when you make a pick that's not for lane, that really gets heavily outscaled and even lost in lane to a Klepto Gangplank, you don't really have a way back. You shouldn't have a way back. They rolled high, or tried to roll high. On the Ornn being able to dominate mid-game team fights, it hasn't happened. And now they're even more behind than the 9,000 gold lead suggests.
It's really rough. I mean, Sungwon, we were talking about his game number 1. He was the easy MVP for me. And it's hard for a player to go from the best player on the Rift to the worst one, but in game number 3, that's certainly what's happening here. Not a good sign. You need consistency if you want to be up towards the top, but it's not just Sungwon, it's the entire team that's been struggling with consistency. We see it again tonight. They looked really good after game 2 did not go their way. Unfortunately, they've kind of fallen to the wayside.
They lose to Kingzone today and a Freak of Freaks in a couple of days. Maybe that's just it for them when it comes to top 5, then SK Telecom would only have a Freak to contest with. that top 5 spot. Hanwha Life were able to play a lot of the teams around them in the standings and pick up victories, and they did in game number 1 here. But unable to close out game 2. That one started well for Kingzone. They had a nice mid-game, but couldn't close it out. Good Hanwha Life. This one, they just kind of been rolled over by Kingzone. Biggest lead we've seen by any team tonight, I think. Yeah. Very comfortable performance by them. BD spots about 800 wards as he goes through the top side, but that's just enemies that see him and say, crap, we got to get away from this Aurelion Soul. 2.5 items, probably working on a Banshee Veil next to continue to play super aggressively. And that Rage Blade may never come for Sung.
It's pretty doubtful. If it does, it's going to be a little bit too late. I say a little bit, but down 9,000 gold tells the story. And, well, at least they'll get the red buff. We got something going for them. We'll steal that away from Prey so that he can't do even more poking. But Kingzone, they're not considering the Baron right now. They just want to fight. They're so much stronger than the side of Hanwha Life. They can just come on in here, try to stun people down, try to 1v1 them alone as well, but they'll just be happy to take out another turret.
And Narang so slow when taking a turret, even with Iceborne Gauntlet on the other side of the map. Kingzone take the objective, they back away. Only the Baron is left, and that's the cherry on the top of what has been a perfect first 25 minutes here. Maybe not in terms of giving up a couple of kills and a turret, but exactly what the Kingzone, SKT, and Afrika fans are looking for. Feels harsh to outnumber in those ways at some of the biggest fan bases in Korean League of Legends, but all of them were hoping for Hanwha Life to fall after game number 1. All of them were nervous. After the first 15 minutes of this game, they were feeling a lot more confident.
Yeah, and Hanwha, once again, kind of just fitting into the role of we beat all of the weaker teams but lose to all the stronger teams. I look back on some of their other losses. It's Griffin twice, Gen G twice, and Kingzone once, SKT once. It's all these really strong teams. They didn't lose to MVP, BBQ, or Jin Air. And they beat KT that one time, 2-0. So, I mean, also Afrika one time, 2-1. So these guys are good. They're just very, very much the middle of the pack here for LCK.
To me, they're the new Afrika Freaks, the new blue shell that can beat any team on their day, which included game 1 of this series. Afrika Freaks in 2017 with Marin and their old lineup were very similar in that way. But the consistency of 18 best of 3s eluded them right at the last when they lost to Jin Air in such heartbreaking fashion in spring season, and it's happening again here. So close, but so far it doesn't count for much. They won't be able to reach the Worlds qualifier as they have no circuit points from the spring season unless they make a playoffs run. The gold graph is one where the scale is important. Notice that the second standard deviation is 10,000 gold, not the 2,000 to 5,000 we've seen in other games. The Rage Blade is there for Songyun, but I don't think it's enough. It's too little, too late.
To see what they can make happen, the Devourer has to start the fight as the Ornn ultimate is kind of funny. They knock a Prey here, but no follow-up will come through as the kind of Mirage is going to effectively zone them all away. Lava still trying to poke and doing a good job of it, but BDD is the raid boss in these fights. Don't get any of that poke damage wrong. BDD can probably 1v3 the side of Hanwha Life if he has his team behind him.
Aforementioned BDD, it's that top lane, starts to push it in. So much map control, but no Baron start yet for Kingzone. We think with Soraka Trundle, they could tank it for a long time. 66 health onto the blue buff there, but not going to be picked up. Comes BDD, actually maxed the stun last. I usually see W into Q, but went W into E this game for even more roaming and movement speed. When is the right time for Baron is really the only question left for Kingzone. They push up the vision. They have a marksman to try to kill it. Play the Rune King has been done for a while. Their turn is decent. It's not the best ever, but it's decent. And have the hard engage to fully force someone to fight them. But now being respectful. If you're doing that at 27 minutes, I guess it's okay. If you're still doing it at 33, that's a pretty significant problem for Kingzone.
Yeah, so far just waiting on members to pick up items, I suppose, but they all have really good items, even the 3 items on the side of gangplank as he picked up his Guardian Angel already. Can get some nice TPs inside there. Hanwha has been able to clear out a lot of the deep vision, at least, so there's no fantastic teleport ward. But
pretty safe build from the GP. Yeah. For Guardian Angel third when he was so far ahead in terms of gold and his team is winning. To me, that's a build. Just run at the enemy AD carry and try to parlay kill him, or at least waste his time in a team fight. As if the Kai'Sa isn't able to dispatch the first member, you would definitely bank on BDD and Prey being able to take the front line of Hanwha Life pretty quickly. But Storm Rays are usually the norm here and will provide threat to the backline instead of the GA, I guess, for another frontliner, or at least to do an imitation of a frontliner on the side of Kingzone.
Yeah, you know, Rascal hasn't been the star of the performance here for Kingzone. And especially when you have your Aurelion Soul go 5-0 and your Ezreal having that much damage, you don't necessarily need Rascal to go super risky in his build. Just make sure you have some sort of front line. It's going to be a nice one, especially for the Soraka too, because Stoneplate also finished for the Trundle.
He's certainly a front line. He's actually got Stoneplate and also the stopwatch. So we'll be able to use both in a team fight and zone control forever. To me, Rascal reminds me a lot of what Easyhoon provided SKT in 2015. He's very capable. I don't think I can rate him in terms of top laners, but he's very capable. And I think given that Khan can be streaky and can have, you know, very emotional reactions to games, I think there's no reason that Rascal can't get significant playtime in a best-of-5. He's not a closer, but he's a very reliable player, and I think that's an important thing for Kingzone to have in the top lane.
Seems very even keel. I would agree with you. Trying to get onto Rascal, none of the stuff hits, but after they won game 2...
On ultimate's down, so they just say, whatever, let's just do Baron.
I guess so. Of course, Lava can come in here and try to poke him down with some trouble bubbles, and Kingzone are not willing to take any risks in this one. They say, oh, they spotted us. We will not continue the Baron at any cost.
They're just always looking for what they can get. And it's so free to start the Baron when you have Trundle, Soraka. If there's a mistake made around the Rift you can capitalize on, you can capitalize. If they don't come, you take the Baron. There's no cost to start the Baron, and it's one of the few ways you can get Hanwha Life to actually step up. So keep doing it. It's definitely the right move for Kingzone.
Yeah. Peanut here just holding away for Prey, I suppose, who just TP'd in.
Prey has a very safe build on the Ezreal Iceborne Gauntlet double lifesteal and CDR boots, so he is just never going to die with a build like that. Kai'Sa will even take a long time to 1v1 him. Kai'Sa herself, Executioner's calling. Someone needs to deal with the Soraka, so it's going to be the Kai'Sa. No Morellonomicon here for Lava, who's just trying to burst one person. He would love it to be the Ezreal.
It's been okay with his trouble bubbles so far. Nothing too great. But again, they've been very far behind for the majority of this game. The 9,000 gold lead has stayed the same for the last 10 minutes or so. Still waiting for that moment they go for the Baron. You mentioned 33 minutes. We're getting close, just a minute away, and still they have not committed to this.
Rascal is decked out. This man has certainly got some good deals. He's 4 items. They say, let's try it again. Second visit to the Baron by Kingzone.
They're going to hit the Gorilla on the backside, the Soraka. Chance for a steal comes in, and Peanut eats a ton of damage, so they will once again back away. No risks. No reason to when you're this far away. Might as well just wait until Hanwha's not in the best spot. It's going to come in here from Linderong. Prey does not have his knock-up. He's in a lot of trouble. Soraka trying to heal him up, but BDD in the front line too. Someone nearly able to take him out on the front line. Oh boy, that was close, but now Prey looking to turn it around here with his own red buff. Looking to slow down Linderong, and the barrel is going to get him to slow. He will be forced to flash, so nobody will die on the side of Hanwha Life, but a lot of low bars.
Smite is out of this fight. The Kindred definitely has to back, so what will Kingzone do? Peanut's healed back up, they're onto the Baron.
Immediately, it might be up to Lava to go for a smite himself, you could say. Rascal gonna take a bunch of damage on the front line. It's gonna be close, and there it is. Smite's at 5 health, it looks like.
Yeah, 5 HP on the Baron. That was actually one where the more sparkles could have stolen it from Lava. That is definitely living on the edge for Kingzone, something they shouldn't be doing when they're so far ahead. They finally get the Baron. They knew no smite could hit the pit, but that one was too close for comfort.
Well, they spent so much time trying to be careful taking the Baron, but they almost lost it anyway. I suppose that's the way it goes. Isn't it ironic?
It's worrying, though, to me, Valdez, because a team that faces them in the future will look at that and say, aha, if we can frustrate Kingzone for long enough, they'll make a mistake. In that case, they were too brash around the Baron. It got too low. Hanwha Life looking for a gank brush.
This is so Hanwha Life, too.
But they're moving. Don't move, Sungwon. Stay where you are. Where is the enemy team is a question BDD is asking.
Oh, it might be Peanut to check it here. Oh, he is so dead. Gonna try to flash over the wall here, but you might as well go bye-bye as the stopwatch is committed to. Not sure about that one. He was gonna go down anyway.
You would think that BDD and Peanut could have shared words about where are they at. Let's be safe. That was not safe, Peanut. Definitely next time you might want to consider using the pillar and just knocking someone out of there. Doesn't give vision anymore, I don't believe, but would have given them the information they needed.
Well, maybe he's tilted after smiting at 5 health. That's all I could say. You know, that's not the best play, especially when about 7 back pings happened in the river and said they're probably in here, and then Peanut face checked it anyway.
Peanut going for the sick 100% death count on his team.
Nice.
I mean, if anyone's going to die, you would prefer it was definitely the Trundle. Soraka actually has a lot of value in extended fight. Peanut kind of puts down a pillar and dies slowly. That's his job.
Yeah.
However, that sort of a death, don't know if you can excuse that.
Oh,
damn. That is some sick damage.
Yeah. Hanwha do have a type of, well, Lava trying to die there. They have a composition that if the Ezreal E's forward again and he doesn't have his flash this time around, he could be in a lot of trouble. They're so far ahead, though, that it might not matter. The last fight just made you think about the possibilities, though.
I'm worried about the possibilities of a second double Elder, because that's an Elder taken for free. They have a double Mountain. Remember, that is a hell of a lot of pushing power now with the Infernal, 12% AD, and also 30% structure damage. Hanwha Life need to get everyone here, and I don't even know if it's enough.
Well, they have a nice little wave coming on in here. Zoe not really able to clear the wave too much. Gonna land the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but BDD doing his own amount of zoning, and look at how fast that turret disappears. Speaking of which, Sungwon just gonna disappear from our eyes, as if he never even existed. Didn't die, but basically did.
Hanwha Life can only defend their mid lane. Ornn doesn't have teleport, and for a long time, remember, it is 6-minute timers on the teleport, so the better part of 2.5 minutes plus for Linderung to make it to a team fight. Going to get a bit of help from Kindred, just increase the speed at which they deal with this first load of minions. Sungin walks up, but not going to be able to assassinate Peanut this time. Ultra safe prey is once again going to go for the safest build ever, going for the Mercurial Scimitar next.
Is there any point at which Hanwha Life, like what minute timer do you think they come back with a Kai'Sa that can just 6-item try to own the team fights in the late game? Does that ever happen for Hanwha?
Any of us a tank top laner, you say definitely yes, against a GP who can always stand and deliver and at least chunk out a Kai'Sa. We already saw Griffin fail in a pretty similar scenario, so I'm definitely not going to commit to it. Hanwha Life committing to their standard let's stand in a brush situation.
Oh, Gorilla just popping forward. Nearly gets beaten there, but the Voice of Light comes through in the Cannon Barrage, and so many members on the side of Hanwha are super low. Lamser Spike comes in as an afterthought, but that's going to be 2 kills for sure. Linderung goes down, as does Key. Another double kill. goes over to BDD, and they're looking for the end now.
Just like SK Telecom T1, Hanwha Life need to shelve this hide on bush idea.
Really want to get the Penta here, but BDD may have bitten off more than he could chew. No, he didn't. There's the Quadra. Bray gonna steal away the Penta, because why not? BDD too low to take it anyway, and we're gonna have another King Zone victory, 2-1 this time around.
King Zone DragonX do a favor for SKT and Afrika. Hanwha Life can't use their game in hand to move to 9 match wins. King Zone joined Griffin at 11 match wins, and the chances of King Zone DragonX going 3 splits in a row as our first seed is still a possibility.
Still might happen. You look at game number 3 and you say they still have it in them, right? They just destroy Hanwha Life in game number 3. Not very close in that one, even though it took them a while to take the Baron. Rascal solemn as ever. He's that even keel spirit you need in the lineup, is able to take 2 wins back for the side of King Zone.
Well-deserved victory for King Zone overall. Hanwha Life, great in game number 1, but game 2 tried the all-in comp, only got it online too late, ended up losing. Game number 3, rolled over in the early game. This was the biggest dragon you've seen from the mid lane in a long while, Huhiesk, from MSI a few years ago. From there, King Zone DragonX closed it out. They continue their win streak. They now add Hanwha Life next to KT and Afrika, a very important 3 teams to be taken down. King Zone going for standard comps has certainly helped them. The return for the spring meta seems to be a welcome return for King Zone DragonX. Peanut smiling on your screen. He wasn't subbed out today. It was Rascal that came in, and Rascal, ever reliable, closed the door on Hanwha Life Esports.
Lava and Linderong, the 2 L's, looking like they took it the hardest. And Hanwha Life themselves taking the 2 L's today. It's rough, you know, they're so close to making it into playoffs. They're nearly good enough. But that next matchup against Afrika is going to decide so much for both of those organizations after the loss tonight.
The problem with being nearly good enough for playoffs, 2 splits in a row, is it means you finish 6th, you have no circuit points, and you have a hell of a long holiday because you'll be watching on as teams flock to Korea for Worlds. There will be nothing for Hanwha Life to play for in that regard. Maybe a Casper Cup, don't even know if there will be one this year. But we're watching the early game here. So many times King Zone traded up. BDD first on the roam to the bot side was so important to them. Ended up with a double kill in this play. His Aurelion Soul is now, I believe, 3-1 in the LCK. Got that loss, might be 2-1. Got the
2-1,
loss.
yeah.
Lost against Fly, and then Fly turned it around and won the reverse matchup. And now 2 victories on the trot for BDD. It's a nice situational pick. It's a different way to play around the Zoe. Zoe looking very balanced in this game number 3.
Certainly did. Aurelion Soul beginning to show its face as, hey, this is actually really good if you play it the way that BDD did. Prey felt like the hero when he took out Sungwon with just the R in the queue, but certainly the MVP of this one, no question, should go over to BDD again. You mentioned one of the best performances for a mid laner in a series. If we had that award, I think BDD might have picked it up tonight.
Definitely BDD living up to his name, big damage dealer in this series, able to run around and influence 3 games in a row, and all of them strong performances, even if game number 1 didn't go the way of King Zone. A couple of heals, the job is done for King Zone DragonX, seeing the players walk off now. They look relieved, Valdez, that they were able to pick up this match victory, because nothing is good enough for King Zone other than regular season first place.
The life of a Trundle, 1,709 damage. Peanut definitely was kind of the punching bag for Hanwha Life. They got 3 kills. Peanut had 3 deaths. But you look at the damage from Aurelion Soul and Ezreal, definitely the 2 that were carrying the team by the bootstraps in that one. Rascal, a decent game on the gangplank as well. Really good cannon barrages in that game. Very well placed.
Haven't had a game where there was more than a 15,000 gold lead at the end in a while. We've had so many close ones today, so many long ones as well. Another almost 40-minute game. Congratulations, BDD.
Yep. 9-0-0. How about that, guys? It's over 900, basically.
Legendary
for this guy.
+1, 100% kills for him. No assists needed. Congratulations to BDD.
I'm going to hand it over to G-Sun. She'll help out with the individual translation of just BDD on the MVP interview.
Thank you very much. This will be BDD having his solo interview for picking up victory against Hanwha Life Esports.
황디디 선수입니다.
It's the King BDD. Congratulations.
야, 엄청난 인기를 구가하고 계십니다.
Well, I guess you're super popular. How do you feel right now?
중요한 경기인데
It was such an important match for us, and it's really sad that it was 2-0 victory. But however, it feels really good.
아, 8월이에요, 여러분.
Well, it's August right now,
다시 한번 축하드리고요.
and your first victory in August. Congratulations.
주먹을 쥐게 만드는
And you know,
그런
today's series
치열한
was so
경기였습니다.
close.
유난히 좀 공격적이었던 것 같은데.
And I think you guys showed really aggressive play. So how was today's match?
적으로 되게 잘한 부분이 많은 것 같아서
As a whole team, I think we really pulled out a lot of good things together, and we're gonna prepare so hard for our upcoming matchups.
그 순위 변동이 계속되고 있잖아요. 선수분들이 좀
So-
압박감이 있을 것 같은데 어떠세요?
It's really the competition between the teams are so intense right now. So does that kind of add you more pressure? It does, but we just try not to concentrate on the rankings. We just do our best to concentrate solely on our plays.
이제 결국에는 오늘 이제 패승승으로 역전승을 이뤄내는데
Finally, you guys picked a victory in 2-0 score. But however, the game one, there were a lot of mistakes, right?
저희가 실수한 부분이 많아서
Yeah, I think we made so many mistakes. So yeah, we just said that let's get rid of our mistakes, and I knew that our mechanics were better. So we were feeling confident enough.
있는 상태로 2세트를 시작을 하셨군요. 아무래도 2세트에서 그 모습이 더 보였던 것 같아요. 근데
So game
진짜
2, I think you guys were feeling really confident. However, Hanwha did make a lot of comebacks and fightbacks. Is there any highlights that you remember?
사실 기억 남는 장면은 그냥 마지막 장로에서
I think the last team fight
기억이 안 나는 것 같아요.
near the Elder Dragon.
네, 어제 저기 경기여가지고.
Yeah, second match was yesterday, so I think you got lost of some of your memories. So let's go through the highlights.
네. 이미 이거는 포킹이 지난 후죠. 지난 후고 피넛 선수가 장로 드래곤 가져.
Pino took the Elder Dragon, and you guys won the team fight also.
네.
여기서 일단 다들 한타를 되게 잘하고
We were really good at team fights,
설계를 되게 잘
and also I think we were zoning really well. So I think we were able to pick up great results.
값진 또 킬이 아니었나 이런 생각이 듭니다.
설계를 누가 했습니까?
그 설계는 거의
So whose plan was that?
피드 좀 많이 하는
I think
편인데
Peanut. He's the main shot caller in our team.
큰 그림 보면서 좀 설계를 미리 해주는 그런 역할이신 것 같아요.
네.
네. 장미철 해설 또 이제 기억을 좀 상기시켜 볼까요?
So is there any questions for game 2?
관료 구도에서 계속 상대방을
So
압박을
Zoe
잘
versus
해주면서
Galio in mid
칼날부리
lane.
쪽에서 적군 쪽 칼날부리 쪽에서 갈리오를 따내는 모습이
You took down Galio near the Raptor.
그때 뭐 그라가스도 먼저 와 있고 알리스타까지 올라오고
There was Gragas and Alistair
있었는지도 궁금하고 그
for the
장면도 다시
backup.
한번
So what
보겠습니다.
kind of shot goals went back and forth?
장면을 먼저
I don't actually remember, so I think we have to go through the clips.
이야기를 지금 하고 있어요. 어쩔 수가 없어요.
어쩔 수가 없어요. 하루 지났기 때문에 네, 조금은
자,
So
이제
this is the replay.
볼게요.
이때 일단 상대 레드로 트런들이 올 거를 예상해가지고
We saw that Trundle will be near the red buff, so we were just camping there. But we saw Galio, so we were able to take him down.
예상을 했는데 오히려 갈리오가 오면서 좀 더.
So I guess you were actually planning to take down Trundle, but well, you guys ended up in picking up Galio, right?
네.
왜요?
네?
아니에요.
아니요.
네네.
자, 그러면 이제 3세트로
Then moving on to game 3.
네.
예, 예.
넘어가서 이제 다른 이야기를 좀 더 해볼 건데요.
이제
초반에 네.
말씀하세요.
Okay.
BDD 선수가
In the early games,
로밍을 빠르게 움직였습니다.
You roam really
그
early
장면을
to the top lane.
보면서 아우렐리온 선이 조이 상대로 나오게 된 바로 되네요. 네.
So this is the clip.
어떻게 누가 먼저
So whose call was that?
그때 그냥 제가 라인 밀고 그냥
Well, I just
나가가지고 탑 간다
pushed the lane, and I got some time left, so I told him I'll be roaming to top, and we were lucky to take him down.
그냥 뭐 나이스.
What did Rascal say? He just said, nice. Well done.
나이스. BDD 최고 이러면서.
그렇죠. 아니 근데 저 궁금했던 게 사실 조이가 나왔잖아요.
Well, my question is that Zoe,
조이 아우렐리온 소를 꺼내서
Well,
처음에는 사실 갸우뚱하시는 분들도
we
좀
thought that
계셨어요.
it could be a little bit weak against Zoe, Aurelion Soul. So what's the plan or strategy you guys trying to bring in?
조이 상대로 해봤는데 좀 나쁘지 않은
Well,
것
I
같아서
have played Aurelion Soul a lot, and I don't think it's a weak champion against Zoe. So that's how we ended up locking in Aurelion Soul.
아닌가 조이를 상대로.
그러니까요.
기본적으로 상대 통통별이랑 이 쿨쿨방울을 다
I
피해야
think
돼요.
you just dodge all the skills from Zoe and then land all your skills back.
라인 클리어를 먼저 하고 먼저
I think that was how you won the laning phase.
그래서 어떤가요? 자신만 할 수 있는 거
So how was game 3?
일단 되게 자신감이 있어서
I was really confident on Aurelian's soul, so it kind of gave me more confidence to dodge all the skills.
를 또 완전히 잘 다루는 또 선수다 보니까
BDD, you are also a good Zoe player, so I think it was extra comfortable for you to play against Zoe today.
어떤 픽맨적인 측면에 있어서도 해설분들께서 말씀하신 것이
And the Korean casters said
글로벌 궁극기가 있는 챔프에다가 아우렐리온
there were 3 global ultimates and also Aurelian's soul, so I thought you guys were planning on to go aggressively in the early games.
미드 바텀이 되게 주도권이 있는 픽이라서
I think the mid and the bot laners had a lot of laning priorities, so we knew that game will be a little bit easier. And I think we brought in some better draft.
중간에도 하나생명의 특기 중 하나 이제 맥을 끊는 이런 장면이 있었어요.
Well, however,
순간 좀 분위기가 이상해졌다가
Hana was almost close to turn the game around. But you know, near the Herald, Prey just melted down. Kindred, right?
나눠보고 싶습니다. 네.
이야기를 좀 우리가 하고 있으면 알아서 이제 영상을 틀어주실 거예요. 한번 볼까요?
So let's go through the clips.
자, 이 장면인데요. 비지 선수 말씀 좀 해주시죠.
So what was going on over there?
얘기가 많이 오고 가서
So we were confident that we could win the team fight at that moment, and also Prey was doing so much damage by himself, so it ended up in a good result. So we all 5 said nice together.
그렇습니다. 아, 진짜 오늘 너무 치열했고 그래서 전투가 진짜 많았잖아요. 킬이 어마어마하게 많이 나서
There were so many fights and so many kills.
이렇게 하나하나 다
And
말씀을 해주실 수가
it will be super happy to end out the game with victory, right?
자,
And this is the entire kill log for game 3.
와, 진짜 많이 돌아다니셨네요.
There were so many kills, and I guess you roamed a lot.
네.
You were just all over the Summoner's Rift.
아우렐리온 솔의 그 장점을 그대로 다 살리시면서 왔다 갔다 하시면서 모든 라인에 또 도움을
So
주신
I
것
guess
같습니다.
I can see that you were taking advantage of your own pick of Aurelian's soul.
남은 경기가
And your next opponent will be BBQ and SK Telecom.
그리고 SK텔레콤 T1입니다. 두 경기 이제 마무리
We have 2 more games left.
포스트 시즌 확정.
And you guys are so close to the postseason and also going straight to the finals.
이제 팬분들이 또 많은 기대를 하고 계실 것 같은데.
So is there any last message for your fans?
네, 일단 자력으로 1등 진출은 힘든 것 같아서
I know it will be hard to make it to the first place. So I'm hoping other teams also do well for us. And we're gonna practice hard and do our best to make our way to the first place. Thank you.
자, 저는 이 시간까지 지금 12시 20분인데
So it's 12:20 in the morning, but there are so many fans out here supporting and waiting for you guys.
저희가 부진할 때 계속 응원해 주셔서
Thank you for supporting us, even though when we are performing bad.
실력 올려서
We're gonna come back with better performance to show better performance for our fans. Thank you so much.
아, 밥 안 드셔도 배부르시겠다. 그렇습니다.
You got great fans, BDD.
포스트 시즌 경쟁 멋지게 이겨내시길
So
바라고요.
today's series ended up in August with Kingzone DragonX picking up victory against Hanwha Life Esports, and I will pass it back to our casters for the last time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ji-sun, for the translation.
It was a day, Valdez.
It was a good one. It was a long one. A lot of things happened. Jin Air won today, by the way, guys. Defeated Griffin earlier on, if you missed that one. And Kingzone just barely came back, but this is what's important. The standings. Afrika take 5th, and Kingzone are up there with the same score as Griffin.
Hanwha Life had 1 match in hand. They lose it and now are 8-7 next to Afrika and SKT. SKT have the worst game score, but they actually play the Afrika Freaks tomorrow in what should be a mouth-watering one for the top 5. It's very likely the team that wins this is going to be in first position to make top 5. Afrika Freaks, they've been trending down. SKT, with Pyrion recently, have been trending up. But this is pretty much the put up or shut up game for SK Telecom T1. They must win this one. The rest of their schedule is very tough as well.
I'm sure you guys are glad to see us on the screen. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good one, right? The whole week, there's so many important matches, right? SKT versus Griffin as well. I think that's on Thursday. And then you also have Afrika versus Hanwha Life on Sunday. when we come back. So all those teams in the middle, they're all going to have to fight against each other, and those 2 or 3 matches, those are going to be the ones that decide who actually makes it into playoffs.
All those decisions, even the relegations now, is going to be so close-knit. That's why every match, even if it isn't Gen.G versus KT, because we had all those matches last week, they still all have their standings implications, whether it's looking up, looking down. Griffin have to look back now because they no longer have that grace period where they have a match lead over anyone. That loss to Jin Air makes them so mortal, given that KT actually owns the head-to-head against Griffin.
Yeah, it's super competitive up at the top, down at the bottom, and even in the middle. Everywhere here in Korea has just been so exciting for summer, and we're almost done, guys. We only got 7 days left over until the regular season is finished for the summer. Obviously, after that, we would do playoffs, 2 days here, and then 2 days over at OGN, including the finals. It's going to be a fun one, Papa. Any last words?
Come back tomorrow, SKT Afrika. What a banger of a second game.
It's going to be a big one, guys. I'll be there in the chat. We'll be watching with you guys. Thank you once again for watching on today. It's been a long day. We love you. We'll see you next time.
I see you always wanna go somewhere to waste your golden soul. I see the smile you never show. Oh no. Oh, when the morning sun, when you lose yourself searching for the dawn.
It's been many days, many ways misled, knowing that I'm tiptoeing on both sides of the fence, trying to figure it out, but I'm living in doubt. So scared one day that your grace might run out, cause I'm so far from perfect, so close to worthless, feeling no good for worship, trying to understand this life that you purchased. Am I just a man destined for death, or do I deserve it? You died for my sins and that's the verdict. You carried out God's true will and purpose with urgency for the sake of love, forgiveness and eternity. Your grace is enough. I got so many questions, so many things to change. I'm calling out, but sometimes you're far away. I get discouraged and seem to always fall flat, but that's when you pick me up and bring